HTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game tips off from Toronto as the Kings square off with the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview the set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. Nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome into the debut of the Drive Guys only on Sactown Sports 1140.
Let's get it.
Thank you, Simone. Welcome to the inaugural journey of the Drive Guys. Kyle Draper, how are you?
I am great. I woke up excited today, got up super early, fired up the laptop, got the prep work in, went to the farmer's market. You know, the sun was out, the birds were chirping. I did have to go through the whole HR process when I arrived into the building.
Whoa.
So that was a little bit, you know, Rachel's great. She's a great person. I love Rachel. She's awesome. But, you know, that's like
she didn't make those rules. She just has to follow.
She got to follow them. But I'm ready. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man. And thank you for selecting our theme music.
Oh, this is a classic right here. This is a throwback.
Great choice.
You know? This
as
is
soon
Let
as
Me
you
Ride.
said it, I was like, that's it.
That's it. Appreciate you, Simone. No, so I'm excited, man. Ready to get this thing started.
And I guess you had to get up early to write this piece you wrote for The Ringer on the latest quarterback rankings, right?
Hey, you know I'm the Brock Purdy's biggest fan, right? I've been all in on Brock Purdy since day one, Whitey. You know that. Brock's my guy, you know? I can't wait to dive into that. I can't wait.
Yeah, Brock Purdy ranked in The Ringer's latest quarterback rankings. This is actually by Stephen Ruiz. 25th. Okay. 20 Mac Jones. 20. It's just funny, right? CJ Stroud, 21. Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love, 23. Anthony Richardson, 24. Brock Purdy, 25. So at this point, some people are just having some fun at our expense.
Well, you know, and we've talked about it before. Like, rankings are meant to be conversation starters, content. Now, if they had Brock Purdy 10, we wouldn't even be talking about it right now. If he was 15, we wouldn't be talking about it. But the fact that he has him at 25, mission accomplished.
Right.
He did his job. Bravo to The Ringer. Good job for you. There's no way in the world Brock Purdy's 25, though, right? I mean, that's laughable. Even for me, noted Brock Purdy criticizer, a guy that wanted to see more. Brock Purdy's might be a top 10 quarterback right now.
He might be. He hasn't had a bad game.
Ever, like in his career, you know, so far. And so the level of disrespect Brock Purdy has garnered, and I was on board with that. I was like leading that charge.
We just wanted to see more.
But I wanted to see it. And through 4 games, he has shown me so much more. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think the QB rating's like 116 or something like that. He has done everything you can ask a quarterback to do. And those people that want to poke flaws in his game right now are just being haters, you know, because it's like, out of material. It's like, it's too good to be true. But the eye test is telling me this dude's a player. That's what I'm seeing week in and week out.
Well, as you pointed out to me, he was on Brock Purdy, was on the Today Show this morning. So he now has the national spotlight on him, probably brighter than he's ever experienced before. Obviously, they were in the NFC Championship game last year, but Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys, there's every reason to think that he'll perform well and hold up to that scrutiny, but he did struggle by his standards last time they played the Cowboys. So this is another, obviously, a real stern test for him against a Dallas defense that, despite what the Cardinals did to them, is a very good defense.
Yeah, this Dallas defense is a top 5 defense. I think they've only given up 10 points per game, albeit against subpar competition. They haven't had the most difficult schedule, but this is, to me, the first real test for Brock Purdy and this Niners team. You know, the first 4 games, the combined record, I think, is 6-10 or something like that of their opponents. So they really haven't played anybody that we'll expect to see come, playoff time.
Well, pardon me, but as you and I pointed out last week, there just aren't that many of those teams
Right.
around
They're
right
just
now.
exactly. And Dallas, a lot of people believe they're the third best team in the NFC. We'll see come Sunday night. But here's the thing. You were able to do it against Pittsburgh. You were able to do it against the Giants, the Cardinals, all these other teams. This Dallas defense, they have playmakers. They are pretty good, a pretty good defense. And Micah Parsons, an MVP caliber kind of player. And so it'll be interesting to see. This is their first real test. But I'm not that worried, to be honest with you. I said it before. I think Dallas they're sort of front runners. I don't think they have the teeth, the depth to them that, you punch them in the mouth, they'll go running. And so I expect the Niners to win, but this will be their first real test, I think.
I remember last year, that the way the 49ers ended up beating the Cowboys in the postseason, it was kind of laughable because of the way the last play the Cowboys ran where Ezekiel Elliott is at center, it's like, what happened to them? But the fact of the matter is it was a very competitive game. So given that the Cowboys did give the 49ers a tough time last time they played, and given that they are capable of wreaking havoc defensively, I am a little concerned. On the other hand, no Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is hurt. And there's also this in the red zone, the Dallas Cowboys, not to get lost in the numbers, but they've been really bad in the red zone this year offensively. They're 30th in, if you're just talking about touchdowns, red zone offense, they're 30th in the league. And, the 49er defense has been underperforming a little bit to this point. But if the 49ers take care of their business when they have their opportunities, Dallas could be hard-pressed to score because they're struggling offensively.
Yeah, and I think it boils down to Dak Prescott and his decision-making.
Trey Lance, right, off the bench.
Right, they got Trey. Maybe run a little wildcat or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think, when it comes to the red zone, what we need to see, if you're a Cowboys fan, from Dak Prescott is the ability to use your legs also in tight situations down at the goal line. The threat of Dak running, I think, should be a big factor for the Cowboys going forward in the red zone. They have the weapons. Pollard's, one of the top backs out there. They got wide receivers. But I think it's on Dak down the stretch to be able to make plays with his legs. And, I question too, Mike McCarthy as a play caller, like that's a concern as a head coach. Exactly. That's a concern for me. And so you might be right. That game may come down to whether Dallas gets touchdowns or field goals in the red zone, because we know the Niners are going to score points. I honestly think it'll be a kind of a shootout kind of game, like a 38-31 kind of game. I think it's going to be an all-time classic. And, I do. You can mark that down. The one area where the Cowboys struggle, however, is run defense. And CMC, he may have a big game. He's already had a big season, obviously, offensive player of the week, that kind of thing. But I think that's going to be a key also. Can Dallas slow down the Niners' run game?
It's a great point. Look what the Cardinals did to him. The Arizona Cardinals, who may be a little better than we thought they were, but they ran for 222 yards against the Cowboys.
Yeah. And
the Cardinals did that.
The Cardinals did that. And when you look at this game, you talk about it being a big game. Obviously, everybody's going to be watching a statement kind of game. But Marcus Spears, and you had this in our notes, he said it on ESPN earlier today. This is a must-win for the Cowboys. This is a bigger game for the Dallas Cowboys. And I agree, because
but it ain't a must-win.
It's not a must-win, no. But if you want to be considered among the likes of the Eagles, the Niners, then it is a must-win. I think if the Cowboys come in and beat the Niners, they put the league on notice that, you know what, they're for real. If they lose, then they're the same Dallas Cowboys teams that we've seen in the past. Remember, the Niners have knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs the last couple of years. And so I think if you're getting up for a game, this is Dallas's Super Bowl during the regular season. This is their big game.
Yeah, and for better or worse, they've pushed all their chips in. They're talking about this game like it's that big for them. There's no, we want to beat them, but it's just another game. They're talking about how desperately they need to beat the 49ers. And Jerry Jones saying, the road to Super Bowl goes through San Francisco. So it's a huge game for them. They've kind of painted themselves in a corner. I'm like you. It has a chance to be a very competitive game, but I'm feeling very optimistic if I'm the 49ers right now.
Yeah, I would think so. And I'm trying to think of a way the Niners can lose this game. The Niners take care of the football. We
That's
know
number
that.
one.
It's not,
Yep.
they don't turn the ball over.
The last 5 times they've lost a turnover battle, they have lost the game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be key, and that's something. But I will say Dallas leads the NFL in turnover margin. They're +9 when it comes. So Dallas will turn you over, and they are one of the tops in sacks as well, 14 sacks on the season. And so I think this will be the first time that Brock Purdy, outside of week 1 in that second half against the Steelers, but the pressure, how does he deal with the pass rush of this Dallas Cowboys team?
That's one area in which he has gotten better over last year. And we know that last year he was marvelous, and this year he's playing great, but he actually is getting the ball out quicker. So that's one of the really positive signs about Purdy. He actually is showing signs of improvement on top of last year, and that's one of the things that he's done, get the ball out quicker. And I agree with you. It's very likely he's going to have to get the ball out quicker against Dallas this week.
Yeah, and the offensive line will be tested. Remember, going into the season, that was a big concern of ours, the right side of that offensive line. So far, they've done a good job. They've done an admirable job, solid job. But this is a different level. This is a different test for the Niners.
I appreciate this. Eric Armstead, local guy, on Twitter. Did you see what he had for Daniel Jones?
No, I didn't see it. What did he say?
Eric Armstead on Twitter for Daniel Jones. Because, the 49ers, when they played the Giants, they had 2 sacks. Yeah. And Monday night, the Seahawks had 11 sacks against the Giants. So Eric Armstead says, Daniel Jones, I'm so disappointed in you. Why would you throw the ball so quick versus us and let these people have a career day? Why weren't we deserving? And he's got the laughing face emoji, but he's wondering, how come he didn't let us get 10 or 11 sacks?
Oh, that's true, because that Daniel Jones and that Giant squad looked awful the other night against Seattle. And the question is, are you afraid of Seattle now? Yeah, because you're right.
Terrible.
They're terrible.
I've
told you since day one, keep an eye on the Seahawks. They're going to split with the Niners this season. And so you haven't seen anything that changes your mind that, what, Seattle might be in the mix.
I like Seattle. Don't care for them. Did you see what Marshawn Lynch said about Pete Carroll?
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
He said, I don't know. I didn't deal with him. Didn't he say the same thing about Russ?
Yeah, Russell Wilson. He was just a quarterback. Yeah. It's I get it why you don't like Seattle, but trust me, what is it? Week 12 and 14, I think it is, or something like that. You're gonna have to care about them.
Little worried about the Lions, Cowboys, your Eagles, of course, but the Seahawks. Come on.
You keep saying that, White. That's disrespectful, man. That is unbelievable. That the level of disrespect for my guy Geno Smith. Did you see what he did the other day?
Yeah, Geno's incredible. We were talking about him yesterday. There was a time as recent as last year where it was easy to say, he's not much. But right now it's like Geno's proven he helps them. He doesn't just stay out of the way.
Right.
He helps them win. And that's an incredible turnaround for
and give Pete Carroll and them credit to stumble upon him.
I'd rather not do that.
That Seahawks hate is real. It is real in the building.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break here, coming right back with a look at JaVale McGee sharing how much other teams really hate the beam thing. That's next here. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Drive Guys with you today on Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Thrilled to be with you today. Drive Guys with Kyle Draper, Weddy Gleason. And Kyle, you've been in broadcasting a long time. You know one of the very best things about being in broadcasting is you get to meet the most incredible people. And years ago, I had the occasion to meet the founder of Jim Boys.
Oh.
Yeah, the actual Jim Boy himself. And he was explaining to us years ago how he invented the tacos with the Parmesan cheese. Anyway, thanks to Jimbo's on this National Taco Day, they took care of us today here at Sactown Sports, and we appreciate that very much for them coming by, dropping off some of their
local organization, right?
Tacos.
Founded in what? Folsom is their headquarters, I do believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Expert on Jim Boy tacos, man.
I didn't realize it was National Taco Day. I don't have the decorations up or anything. So.
How can is today really National Taco Day?
Yes, it is.
How can today be Taco Day?
We were talking
and
about
it's not
that.
Tuesday.
I know.
Yes.
It's
a shame.
Oh my gosh.
It's just every day. It's the same calendar day every year. So sometimes it's not going to fall on a
it's
Tuesday.
one of
Yeah,
those.
that's like also if you run a baseball team, you don't have helmet night when the Yankees are in. So they're already gonna Taco Tuesday, already selling tacos. Well, we want to sell more tacos the next
do
day.
it Wednesday or something like.
There you
Okay,
go.
all right,
Yeah,
I get it.
I'm not in the taco game, but that's what
I thought it would be like Thanksgiving. You know, Thanksgiving's not the same actual date, but it's what, the third or fourth Thursday of the month, of November every year. And so I thought Taco Tuesday, the first Tuesday of October or something like that, you know, National Taco Day.
Didn't LeBron try to trademark Taco
Yeah.
Tuesday?
He did.
What?
It's like Al Gore discovering the internet, right? You know, it's like, no, dude, it was, it was there already, you know, LeBron. But taco. That's
National
what's for dinner.
Taco Day.
That is
Yes.
what's for dinner tonight.
It's a great call.
Tacos.
Thank you to Jim Boys. We appreciate that very much. What did you learn at King's Media Day? And obviously your perspective is very interesting on this because you already know so much and you're around them so much. Chris and I learned a ton. Carmichael, Dave, and Jay Ross, we've been telling stories all week long. Was there anything that you, who are already so familiar with the team, learned about the team?
I learned that the moves Monty McNair made, the players he brought in, while maybe not headline grabbers, will have huge impacts for this team this season. Just the way that Sasha Vezenkov carries himself, just the way that JaVale McGee carries himself. I think those two guys will have a huge impact on this Kings team. I expect, and I'm not coming around to your side of things just yet regarding Sasha. I don't think he's going to average 18, but he's going to be better. I don't know what you said.
I never said that.
No,
but
you had high expectations for him. You had high expectations for him. I think he could average 13 or 14. Like, I think he might be.
I think I said 14.
I think you said 14. Yeah, I think, and I laughed at you. I'm like, no way. But I think he can be a big part. And I think JaVale McGee is exactly what this team needs. I think, forget about the numbers and the block shots and the rebounds, but the locker room presence, a veteran, a voice, somebody that will hold guys accountable. Not that they necessarily needed that, but I think that only is going to help this team. It's a more business-like atmosphere listening to the guys. You know, they don't want to talk about, you know, all the fun stuff that they did at the trips. Malik Monk doesn't want to talk about Fashion Week. He wants to talk about basketball. De'Aaron Fox, same thing. These guys are locked in and focused right from the get-go.
One of the things I love about this Kings team, and Malik really embodies it, with all the chatter locally about they're not respected and people don't know how good they are, the Kings clearly don't care because in their mind, it's like, we're going to show you. We don't care what you think. We're going to show you. So that's one of the things I appreciated about the quiet confidence. To your point about Sasha, the Kings also impressed me by virtue of the fact that they have so many guys I'd never realized before who are really intelligent. I mean, really smart guys. Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, Sasha Vezenkov. How many languages does he speak?
Yeah.
You know, Sabonis and Malik Monk, really smart guys. And I think that goes a long ways towards explaining why everybody's on the same page, because they're smart enough to realize, like we were talking to Malik about coming off the bench. He's like, hey, you know, we all win. You know, if I come off the bench, play well, yeah, maybe I'd like to start, whatever, but we all win. So really, really an intelligent team.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed, and Whitey, I've seen teams that have had success get all fat and happy. and start believing their press clippings and, really enjoy the pats on the back. That's not a good thing. Exactly. And I have not seen that from this Sacramento Kings team so far, and what I've seen from them. I see an inner hunger. I see a disappointment that they came up short
still there.
Last season.
Yes, it's almost palpable.
Right. You can feel it. You can feel that, they're still upset that they lost Game 7 at home against the Warriors. And so that's why I'm expecting, and let's not forget, they lost their first 4 games last season, and I'm looking at the schedule right now. It's tough, those first 4, but after you get rid of a couple of games against Golden State, the Lakers, Utah, you have a chance to get off to a really good start if you're Sacramento, and that's what I expect from this Kings team this season.
By the way, Golden State drive me crazy already because now they're talking about, and this is more the media than the players in all fairness, but they have Chris Paul, they have Draymond. They're like the evil twins. They're the bad boys by the Bay, the Warriors. Come on, the Warriors.
Nobody's scared of the Warriors. I'm sorry. It's. I understand you got Chris Paul, but Draymond's already hurt.
That's right.
I'm not worried about Golden State. And, as I was driving into the radio, and you tell me what you think about this, I think this is a seminal moment in Steve Kerr's career. Because I understand multiple championships as a player, multiple championships as a coach, but some of the luster is wearing off. What happened with the Jordan Poole, how they handled that incident with Draymond, Kuminga, Wiseman, and Moody, their development or lack thereof. Team USA over at the World Cup, all these things with Steve Kerr in charge. And so I think this is a big season for him as well.
It's a contract year for him,
contract year. You bring in Chris Paul. Like, he has to get this to work. They have to make a deep playoff run. They can't be a one and done or a two. Like, they got to be a Western Conference Finals team because they've set that bar. They've set that standard if you're a Warriors fan. And so I just think this is a pivotal moment in the Warriors franchise this season.
I think Steve Kerr he's a wonderful guy and he's a great coach. But to your point, some of that is inevitable. It happens with every team in every sport. And I think a lot of that is probably why Bob Myers isn't the GM anymore.
Yes.
He realized, all right, I've done about all I can do here, and this is starting to go the other way.
Right.
So, yeah, it's time for me to step away.
No, exactly. And if you're Bob Myers, you're looking like, I accomplished everything I can. The only direction I can go now is down. And he got off. Bill Belichick always say, I'd rather get rid of a player a year too soon than a year too late. Well, Bob Myers jumped off, maybe a year too soon. In his eyes, he
didn't want to be part of the dismantling of that great team that he helped put together.
And I just think, when you look at Klay Thompson's age, when you look at Draymond, Chris Paul's 38. I mean, I just think this is a pivotal year for them. And it's sort of like, to your point, inevitably, this is what always happens. Same thing with Bill Belichick with the Patriots. Like, you set a bar so high that when you can't, and it's impossible to reach that year in and year out. And that's where Steve Kerr is. He set that bar so high.
Well, we'll talk more about it coming up here on the program. But you saw what Steve Kerr said yesterday about Chris Paul. He said Chris Paul, not only would Chris Paul start, but the defensive rotations for the rest of the team change, including Klay Thompson, who's going to be guarding fours. It's like, okay, good luck with that. All right. And I'm telling you, I think we talked about this last time you were on. Chris Paul ain't coming off the bench. And he said this week, whatever we need, whatever it takes, whatever I got to do for the team to win. But then what happens? Steve Kerr says, oh, yeah, he's starting. So good luck with that, Warriors.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Chris Paul has never in his professional career or even college come off the bench. He did come off the bench for Team USA, he did say, but that and poor Kevon Looney, he's probably going to be the odd man left out, and he could be, their second most valuable player, third most valuable player, because nobody else on the team does what he does.
Yeah, and he'll do it.
Yes.
He may not like it, but he's not going to cause
he would do it.
Problems coming off the bench. But speaking of JaVale McGee, it was really interesting. At Media Day, he was talking about the beam from the standpoint of an opposing player. And he was saying, they had that back-to-back here when the Mavericks played here. And he said that the Mavs would say, they would talk about the bleeping beam. They don't, right? Like, we don't want them lighting a bleeping beam because that means we lost. And I never thought about this before. I think also when Steph was, kind of mocking the whole thing.
Yes.
I think that's because opposing players don't like it because it's gotten in their heads a little bit. All the chanting and light the beam, the beam. We celebrated here, but for other teams, it got under their skin.
For sure. And it was, a rallying cry for other teams to make sure that the beam was not lit.
The bleeping
beam. And they hated the bleem, but they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop it. Even on the road, we saw, Kings fans take over various arenas, down there at crypto.com or whatever it's called now, the Kings fans took over that. And so I'm excited, man. But now JaVale McGee is on our squad. Mm-hmm. He wants to see the beam lit every single night.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason why some people look at the Kings and they're not overly impressed with the offseason, the way the Kings went about it. One of their last moves they made, acquiring JaVale McGee, might end up being one of the most significant. And it was almost like under the radar, like, at the very end. And he could have a huge impact on this.
And that's my point. It may not have been trading for Bradley Beal. It may not be getting Drew Holiday or Damian Lillard. But JaVale McGee is a 3-time champion. Won twice with the Warriors, once with the Lakers. He's been in the trenches. He knows what it takes. And it's not about, 7 o'clock when they tip off or April when the playoffs play. It's about practice right now, October 3rd, October 4th, and we're already seeing it from JaVale McGee.
When we come right back here, tell you about one Cowboys plan for a Levi Stadium takeover by Dallas fans. What? It's Kyle Draper and it's Whitey Gleason here. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million be? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The City of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game tips off from Toronto as the Kings square off with the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to Sactownsports.com to preview the set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back to more Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
It's going to be an extreme matchup. And you see IU. They got Debo. They got Trent Williams. And Brock Purdy keeps proving himself week in, week out, dominating, doing what he do. The question is, will we hand Brock Purdy his first loss of the season? That's something we don't know. That's why we let the past talk. We let football talk for us.
That's Micah Parsons from The Edge with Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboy Micah Parsons. It's the Drive Guys, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. So he's ready for Sunday night, and the Cowboys are keenly aware that they're 3.5-point underdogs, as you said, Kyle. Some are even framing this as a must-win scenario for the Dallas Cowboys, and Micah Parsons laying it out there. We'll see if we can hand Brock Purdy his first loss, because that's who they're coming after. The head of the snake is Brock Purdy.
Right, Brock Purdy. I love it. And we talked earlier, Brock Purdy was on the Today Show, and he's getting a lot of love right now. But this will be a huge test for him in that offensive line. You know, this Cowboys defense, one of the top defenses in the entire NFL, top 5 in sacks, number 2, I think, in yards allowed. Number 1 in points per game allowed. And so it's going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge. And I just think, Micah Parsons and the rest of this team, Jerry Jones, they're working themselves into a lather. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anything really from the Niners about, this matchup, they're not talking any trash. They're not, they're just going about their business. And the Cowboys are billing this as, their Super Bowl in the regular season. And so I do expect Dallas's best punch, though, this week. They're coming off a big win, obviously a blowout win this last week. And so I expect the Cowboys' best punch.
Yeah, we got news for you, Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys. You're not playing Mac Jones this week. That was an unfair fight. It's like every time he's running around, drop the ball, touchdown, Cowboys.
Right, yeah. They gave that one. They were literally giving that one away. But when you look at the Cowboys, you expected that, though, right? Coming off the Cardinals loss,
yeah, I suppose so.
They were going to be hungry. Sure. They were looking to make amends, atone for that. Now let's see, them get back to their normal game. It's a normal kind of game. Let's see what they can do against a better team.
Well, on his podcast, Micah Parsons was also pleading with Cowboy fans to make the trip out west so that the Cowboys could take over Levi's Stadium.
It's going to be super fun to watch. And I need every Cowboys Nation, I need y'all to pull up to the Bay. We need to make this a home game. I'm calling Cowboys Nation out to step up and be with us in the Bay. We need every single one of y'all. We need to go up another notch. We need to be the best, baby. We need Cowboys Nation there. I need all of y'all there. We're going to need all hands aboard to knock this team out. And that's just what it's going to take.
That's interesting to hear, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to do to the 49ers what the 49ers have been doing to the Rams at SoFi.
And the Cowboys, obviously a lot of tradition, great fan base, strong fan base. But I don't know if they travel like that. And I'll tell you a story here, Whitey. This is a few years ago. I happened to go to a Cowboys game down in Dallas. It was Cowboys-Eagles. There were probably 30 to 40% Eagles fans in that building. And so the Cowboys couldn't even turn out for their own game. The Eagles took over that stadium. So I don't know if the Cowboys, especially against the Niners, now, some of these other teams, maybe, but not against the Niners.
Right.
That's not happening.
Micah Parsons, we all know he's an exceptional player. But as far as trying to get Cowboy fans to take over Levi's, that's cute, right? Hey, good for you. Good for you, Micah Parsons.
You know
that's
what that
cute.
tells me? He's worried. He's worried because you shouldn't have to ask your fan base. The fan base knows exactly how important this game is. This one should have been circled on the calendar. This is a team that knocked you out of the playoffs twice, 2 times in a row in the last couple of years. You shouldn't have to beg your fans or send a message, a bat signal to your fans. Hey, come on over, guys. We need your help. They should already be there.
He, by the way, says his ankle is very well. He hurt his ankle during the win over the Patriots. He also talks about this Micah Parsons going against the best tackle in football, Trent Williams. But you got to figure Micah Parsons is also going to be lining up on the other side as much as humanly possible.
He's going to be moving because, Trent Williams, arguably the best offensive lineman in the game, possibly a future Hall of Fame offensive lineman, I might add as
I would
well.
say that's probably a sure.
Yeah, he's going to be in the Hall. And so, but that's the thing about Parsons. He's different. He's a new breed of defensive lineman, right? He can move around. He can play multiple spots. He has the athleticism. If I'm Dallas, I am lining him up on the other side of the line. I'm not having him go against Trent Williams. So that'll be something to look at come Sunday.
Right. When they played in the playoffs, Dallas had a lot of success putting pressure on Brock from that side, and Brock Purdy countered with a lot of slants there. You throw to that vacated spot. So then the chess match continues because Dan Quinn knows that. We'll see what the counters are. But it's interesting now the way the 49ers are playing, and I made this point a number of times over the last few weeks, Kyle. We know if you've watched the 49ers for a long time, there's always talk about the offense and Kyle Shanahan and the play calling is so great. And this offense with the motion and pre-snap, everything, it's so sophisticated. But basically the 49ers, their foundation was defense. So far to this point, the offense is playing better than the defense. And it may be that this team's identity is shifting a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. This is a team, last year that depended heavily on the defense. When they turned the corner and they made that run, it was the defense that really stepped up. Now the defense is sort of a middle of the pack defense, especially against the pass. They're not getting to the quarterback as much as
last week against Arizona. They were pretty good.
They were good, but they aren't forcing a whole lot of turnovers either. And so, but when you're the 49ers and that defense, you give them 24, 31 points. That's all you really like. You don't need to, score, 40 points. Like the defense is good enough. And if you're the defense, I'm saying, we know our offense is going to get 24. Mm-hmm. We know our offense is going to get 31. So we don't have to, hold a team to 6 or 10. Or I would like to see that, though. Let's keep it real. I would like to see the defense get after it, force Dak Prescott into 3 or 4 picks, sack him 4 or 5 times. Like that would make me happy. If you're a Niners fan, that's what I would want to see.
You remember that Ravens team that won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer quarterback?
Yes.
About 11 years ago, I was doing a show with Rod Woodson. He was filling in. So we're talking, Rod Woodson was like the co-host, and Rod Woodson called Shannon Sharp. And so they were just talking. It was awesome to just hear them talk. They were talking on the radio about that team. And Shannon Sharp said, Rod and Ray Lewis, they would come to us and they'd say, or no, he said, we would go to them. We'd go to the defense. We'd say, Ray, Rod, how many points you guys need this week? And they would say, can you get us 10? If you get us 10, we'll win. And Shannon's like, yes, we can do that. We will do 10. That. And then they were one of the greatest defenses ever. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. But that's not this 49er team right now.
No, that's not this 40. It's the opposite. And it's not like they're giving up points or anything like that. It's not like they're, teams are just marching. They just haven't been as sharp as we expected. They've been banged up, obviously. They've had some injuries, in the secondary. But that offense, man, if you can score like they can, like I watched that game the other day against Arizona, just the ease, right from the opening jump. And Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he's the key to it all, I think,
Oh, they're overusing him. Come on.
It's crazy. He's their leading rusher, obviously, but also he has more receptions than anybody else on the team as well. So he's their leading receiver when it comes to receptions. And so he just adds such a different dynamic, and he looks hungry too. He looks like a guy on a mission. And, I know he was great in Carolina. I get that. But, man, he looks like a guy who suffered the injury and, is taking on the world and is looking to make a statement every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, the whole issue of whether or not he should be rested more, I don't think it's an issue. I know one of the games was at the second game of the year where Kyle admitted after the game, said, we probably used him a little more than we needed to.
But because Elijah didn't play in that game, right?
Yeah. So then it became, but, I mean, it's football. You're trying to win every game, obviously, and he's playing better than anyone's playing right now. So you give him the ball. That's why you have him on the team, right?
Exactly. And, it's – but I will push back on you, though, here, Whitey, regarding Christian McCaffrey. They have a capable backup
Yes, they do.
And Elijah. So it's not like there's no other answer. We got to, you play to win the games. I get that. You do your best every play to win the game. But you have a capable backup. And so now there's people out there saying, what are you going to do with Elijah? Might he be trade bait? Because what's his role on this Niners team? If Christian McCaffrey is touching it, 20 rushes a game, 22 rushes a game, and he's out there on third downs, what's Elijah Mitchell's role on this offense?
To wait and see if we need him.
To wait. We are relegating this guy.
Superman, I'm not going to give the ball to Batman. Batman's great. But
this is where I disagree with you and Shannon, because it's a long season.
Yes.
You got to get through 17 weeks. CMC is going to take a lot lot of punishment throughout, the rest of the season. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Nothing's gonna
no,
happen.
he's not. I could make the argument outside of Brock Purdy, he may be the single most important player on the entire team. You cannot afford to lose CMC.
Disagree.
If he goes down, and so why don't you pace him a little bit? I understand.
Just 'cause he's playing so great.
He's playing so great. But man, you got Elijah sitting right there. You can work him in for a bit.
What did you think of Kyle saying he wished he'd gotten McCaffrey 5 touchdowns, but he didn't know he already had 4? And he said, no one would tell me because when people tell me that during a game, I snap at them.
Oh,
did you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
He said,
one.
I wish I knew he had 4, but no one told me. And he said, yeah, when people normally tell me that about stats during a game,
he doesn't care about that.
I don't like that. So that's why nobody told me.
No, somebody should have told him, actually. He probably would have snapped, but then tried to find a way for him to get his 5th. But I do think CMC may be carrying too much of a load right now, just because here we are, early October. This guy's playing great. He's touching the ball all the time. I want to make sure he's fresh come January, Whitey. That's more important to me. Stack up the wins now, great. But I don't care if you go 15, 16, 17. I don't care if CMC is not healthy enough when you need him the most.
Superman's going to be ready. Don't worry about it. I understand what you're saying, but don't worry about it. Coming up next, we'll hear from Farhan on the Giants' immediate future and also some interesting thoughts from Farhan on the Bear. You ever watch the Bear? Farhan has some interesting comments on that and how it relates to his club next year on The Drive, guys. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
For 75 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and, well, many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 75th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Another tough one for the Silver and Black, as they are tired of seeing Khalil Mack, who tormented them with 6 sacks of rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who was filling in for the injured Jimmy G. O'Connell battled the team back, but a late pick stopped the comeback, and now the Silver and Black are just 1-3. Up next, they return home for a Monday night game against the Packers. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Drive guys with you. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. I was reminded, Kyle, yesterday of just how terrific Kings fans are, because, you know, the Minnesota Twins yesterday broke a long streak. They won a playoff game. First time they'd won a postseason game since 2004. So the streak was similar to what the Kings and Kings fans went through. And there was a reporter at Target Field after the game, and he was on live, and people were streaming by, and he was talking to them about how great it was. And some of the fans are pretty excited, you know, like, yay. And some of them just kind of walked by, and they asked one guy, where were you in 2004? And he had his hat backwards, and he turned around and said, I was in San Diego, go Padres. You know, so it's like, okay. The point is, I was comparing that to what it was like at Golden One right after the Kings won the first game of the playoff series. I mean, and you couldn't even hear yourself think. And this was like, yay, we won.
It was euphoria. It was like, you know, people spilling into the streets, celebrating. It was almost a parade right there, you know, just a feel good. Everybody's happy. And and that's you talk to the players at Media Day. That's the one thing everybody mentions. Like, what do you look forward to the most the upcoming season? They say the fans. They want to get back in Golden One and hear that crowd again.
Won't be long. You guys have a game, not a home game, but you guys have a game.
Sunday in Vancouver against the Raptors. I tried to get on that trip, Whitey. We're not broadcasting it on TV, and so I'm not going. Our boy G-Man, though, will be in the building. He'll be up there north of the border broadcasting it right here for Sactown Sports.
He made many trips up there when they still had the team there.
And they had the squad up there. Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of baseball, as I was a moment ago, interesting, yesterday, Farhan Zaidi spoke with the media in the Bay Area about what's going on with the Giants and where they go from here. And he tried to make a point about where this all is for the Giants that involved the very popular series, The Bear. See if you can follow where he's going here and what Farhan was trying to say to the media yesterday.
You know, one of the shows I've been watching kind of therapeutically over the last couple months is The Bear. I don't know how many people here watch that show. And there's an episode in the second season about one of the characters in the show who goes and works as a stage at this 3-star Michelin restaurant. Do you watch the show?
No,
Okay, right. Not that one. I'm talking about when he goes to work at the restaurant, the episode Forks. Yeah. So anyway, I promise I'm going somewhere with it.
Everyone watch The Bear, though. It's fantastic.
It's an amazing show. So anyway, this guy's a little annoyed at the fact he works as a stage. The first week, all he's doing is cleaning forks, and then the next week he's cleaning spoons, and it's like really mundane. But the episode really revolves around the story and narrative behind a sign that's up in the restaurant kitchen that says every second counts. And it's just sort of, when I was watching that, I really identified with it, because to be a part of excellence anywhere, it just, no detail can be too small. And for us, I think, that's what we want our brand to be, that every second counts.
Okay, now you tell me, Kyle, if you're a Giants fan, you're like, where's my wallet? I gotta buy tickets.
That is just what did he say? I just listened to it for 90 seconds. And this is the problem with the Giants organization right now. It's not inspiring. There's no hope. Like, you know what? We got the right people in charge. They're going to turn it around. Farhan is our guy.
He said
he's
this
speaking
is
in
what
riddles.
We want our brand to be.
Right. Which is no, that's not what if you're,
you're doing it wrong.
Right. If you're a library or something like that, yeah, that's what you want your brand to be. Come here, get that knowledge, but you're talking about a MLB pro team in a great baseball town like San Francisco. And to me, he did not inspire anybody with what he just said. He didn't sell one season ticket.
No.
He didn't sell one bag of pop. Like if I'm a Giants fan, I'm only more frustrated, because if I'm Farhan, what happened this past season is unacceptable.
Yes.
That's the message you should be trying to convey to your fan base. We are too proud. We are too great of a franchise to have missed the postseason. That won't happen again. Instead, he took the opposite tack pretty much, and I'm left uninspired.
Now, he was speaking in the dugout. Do you know why he was speaking in the dugout? Have you heard this story?
No.
He was in the dugout because the conference room, where you'd normally have something like that, was taken up by the clubhouse guys. And why is that? Because the space where the clubhouse guys usually are is taken up by, I kid you not, the computers and the data scientists. I'm not making that up.
And as we say that, we watch Bruce Bochy and the Rangers advance in the playoffs, like real baseball guys, old school guys. And, that's part of the problem. We've talked about it before, about this Giants work. They rely too much on the analytics instead of the baseball, that we've all grown up and loved. And so that was an uninspiring message. And somehow he still has a job. We'll see how long that lasts. Like, I got to imagine this is a pivotal year for him as well going forward.
Here's the key to it all. He says, if we had played better and had a chance to clinch the playoffs, would the attendance and energy have been different in the ballpark? He says, I think almost certainly. So I continue to think that's our primary responsibility. Just win games. That's what fans want. That's what is going to attract fans to the team, end quote. But it's going to take more than that. There are teams that are analytically driven, like the Dodgers. They kind of hide it from people. There's still people say, this is Dodger baseball. Yeah. So if you win, that's fine, but you've got to do something that's relatable, and you got to have a manager that's relatable to your fans.
But I'll push back, and I'll ask you this. When they won 107 games, that place was rocking. It was bumping. It was packed out. I was there when they clinched the division. With that being said, they still had Gabe Kapler. He was still the same manager that he was this past year, right?
Right.
And so, to Farhan's point, if you win, fans will come. I don't think it matters necessarily, how you do it or whatever. Are you a franchise? Are you a team that goes out there and is winning, has a chance to win a championship? What happens is once the trade deadline comes and you slip further and further away from a playoff spot, lethargy starts to creep in. Fans are like, whatever, we'll get them next year or something like that. And so I do think, to Farhan's point, winning cures all ills. I don't care if you go out there and get Aaron Judge or a big name or whatever. I don't care if you have, starters or relievers or, platoon guys, however you want to spin it, long as you win, long as you get the job done. And that was Kapler's biggest thing. He didn't win. If Kapler would have won, he'd still have a job. They didn't win.
107 wins was incredible. They were ahead of schedule. Yes. But the thing is, the way they won 107 games, they were fortunate, and it doesn't apply. For example, that year, Gosman was gone the next year. And Gosman's like, I wanted to stay there, but because they were cutting payroll. So right. I would argue, you're right. If you win, then fans are going to come. But it's really hard to win the way they're going about their business. And if you don't win a lot and you have this unrelatable computer-driven product that you're putting on the field, fans just have a hard time caring about what you're doing. If they don't care, you've lost.
Yeah, and I agree with you that that's the worst, right? Like when you don't care, you may hate what Farhan's doing, you may love what he's doing, but if you don't even care what he's, it's like as a franchise, you can't have that. But would you rather be, the Yankees? They do it their way. They shop, they buy big players, big names, and they've flamed out.
But the Giants should have. I think this is why some fans get upset. The Giants, they make enough money where they should be able to have the best of both worlds. You can run your team like the A's do or used to, Moneyball, but also do that with a lot of money so that if you make a mistake, you're okay. But they don't. They still run the team with a smaller, lower budget. And I think that's what's so frustrating for fans.
And it should be frustrating for fans because I've mentioned it time and time again on the show. San Francisco, it's a great baseball city. It's a baseball town. The Giants are a proud organization. They aren't hurting for money down there. And when ownership, they should be in the mix for all the big. Honestly, they should be the Dodgers to an extent. They should be the Red Sox, the Yankees. They should be.
They could be.
They could be.
Not to.
Exactly. And that's sort of what's happening in Boston, too, to an extent. Boston isn't going after the big names or signing. I think they're going to try to make a play for Shohei this offseason. But, there's no reason why these upper echelon franchises should not be spending the money.
So you're not going to, like, every day when you wake up, play that Farhan speech?
No. That's maybe to go to bed, right? Maybe to put me to sleep or something like that. That's awful.
We're back to the Kings when we come back. Is two bigs too big for the Kings with Draper and Gleason? Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game tips off from Toronto as the Kings square off with the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview the set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back to more Drive Guys.
Welcome back. Buddy Gleason, Kyle Draper, our debut voyage here. The Drive Guys. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Alex Lynn may have given us a little glimpse into a strategic wrinkle we'll see from the Kings this year. And I don't think Kyle's too excited about it, but we'll get to that. Before we do, I got to ask you guys about something. Because my wife was giving me a hard time about something I did once yesterday. And I bet I'm not the only one that did it. Do you mind if I just run that by you real quick?
If you must.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead. What you got?
Years ago, yesterday I got a new debit card, so I had to activate it. And she says, don't sign it on the magnetic strip, because years ago I got a new card, and you know how you have where you sign it, then you have the magnetic strip?
Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't paying attention, and I signed the magnetic strip and she's never forgotten that. And she, every chance she gets, I'm probably not the only one who's done that, right? There's probably a lot of people that have done that, right?
No, I don't think so. You talking like the thing that's like at the bottom or whatever? You signed it on the.
This isn't it. But
is that it?
No, this isn't it. But see, there's where you sign it.
Yeah, you signed it there,
and I signed it. I signed it. This is a long time ago on the magnetic strip.
Who does that?
Probably a lot of people.
No, nobody.
There's probably a lot of people that do. A lot of us have done that.
You just weren't. You just were like, Did you think you were supposed to sign there?
I have so many important things that were going through my mind.
You know what's so crazy? And I probably should. I actually don't sign mine at all.
Yeah, the one I got yesterday, you didn't even have to sign at all.
Yeah, I don't.
But
really
I'm sure. I think they had to stop having people sign it because everyone was doing that.
So much confusion.
Everyone was doing that. I'm sure.
Right?
They didn't know exactly where to sign.
Everybody there,
Yeah, absolutely.
That black card you got, man, I tell you, that Amex black card, you got to sign it in the right spot.
My sister-in-law said, I did that once, but I think she just felt sorry for me. So, okay. No one else.
No, I know. No, that's the one you keep to yourself, Whitey. You keep that to yourself, man.
Well, I have
that's one of those in-house between you and your wife.
You know what? Today's the day.
I'm gonna be a human. I'm gonna humanize myself.
I'm gonna work out for me, but I gave it a shot.
That's all.
Yeah. Now Monday we were talking to Alex Lynn.
Yes.
And Alex Lynn told Chris and I, and I'm sure you were talking to all these players as well on Monday. He said, coach is talking about maybe there are some lineups where I'm on the floor with Domas at the same time. So you got Domas at the 4 and I'm at the 5, and then we're not so small. And that was interesting. But I know, and you and I have actually talked about this before that even came up from him. And we'll see where it goes. It's an interesting idea, but you're not crazy about it, are you?
No, not at all. And, I'm trying to give Mike Brown and the staff and Alex Lynn and Domas the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't see how that works. Maybe you do it in spot situations or something like that. Maybe you do it, against other teams who have twin towers. Let's say Milwaukee. When you play the Bucks, let's say you go against Giannis and Brook Lopez, they got twin towers, so maybe you play it. But from an offensive standpoint, Domantas Sabonis is best at that foul line, elbow extended area with the ball in his hands. Where are you going to put the big man? On the other block, the opposite block? Where's De'Aaron Fox going to operate coming downhill? I think that, the best offense with this team is you have Sabonis, you have Fox, and you have 3 shooters that surround them, to open up the floor. And then you get a lot of constant movement. As much as I love Alex Lynn, I don't want to see him and Domantas Sabonis together. I just I think that the perfect big to pair with Domantas Sabonis is somebody that can shoot. A la maybe a Brook Lopez, because he can stretch the floor and you have to respect him. Maybe Alex Lynn has been working on his 3. Maybe JaVale McGee has been in the gym getting up shots. I don't like the 2 big lineup, not in today's NBA.
Here was what Alex Lynn had to say to us on Monday at Media Day.
I mean, it's no secret that in that playoff series, you guys really struggled with the glass and controlling the glass. And, Kevon Looney had himself a fantastic series. What adjustments can you guys make this year to make sure that just doesn't happen again?
We'll see what coach come up with. But that game 7 was tough, though. Like, it felt like just the ball was just bouncing their way every single time, especially in that third quarter. But I feel like coach talked about he might try to play 2 centers at the same time, like either Domas and me, Domas and JaVale. So we'll see if that works.
Yeah. So there you go. And obviously it's not something you could do against every team. The way I envision it, if they were going to try it, is Domas is the high post and Alex Lynn is kind of low. You got some high-low action going, but it just sounds like something that they want to have as an available adjustment.
Yeah.
If they're running into some of the same problems they ran into against.
Yeah. A number of different looks that they could throw at teams, and teams will have to prepare for that. I think, and speaking of Domas Media Day, one of the things he did talk about is that he's been working on his shot. He's been working on his shooting.
Yes.
So look for him to extend that. And maybe that's another way, you bring Domas out a little bit higher. You duck in an Alex Lynn, like you said, or a JaVale McGee, and you dump it down for that. I just think, from an offensive standpoint, that wasn't the issue. Like, you didn't need a big offensively. What you needed defensively was better perimeter defense and better rim protection. And so I just think Domas has to be better on that end, defensively and defensive rebounding as well.
Yeah, possessions. So much of it in that series was about the possessions.
Possessions, exactly. But I also wonder, if you're Mike Brown, are you thinking going with a 2 big lineup because you want to take some of the pressure off Domas? He gets beat up all the time, having to wrestle with the centers. Now you move him to 4. It's more of a finesse game. He can overpower a 4. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you're, an opposing team, how do you guard Domas? You talk to players around the league, they say he's one of the strongest players in the entire NBA. Now imagine a 4 having to guard Domantas Sabonis. And so maybe you have an advantage there with Domas. Also, when you pair him with an Alex Lynn or JaVale McGee, those guys got to be good passers. So maybe Domas is the guy you place on the low block or closer to the basket, bring up JaVale McGee, Alex Lynn, and then do a little high-low with Domas with the mismatch on the inside.
Yeah. Obviously, the potential downside to having Domas playing 4s is he may have a harder time keeping up with them defensively. And then you're already trying to keep him out of foul trouble. So, obviously, with everything in basketball, there's you give and you get.
Yeah, but I will say, and it's a great problem to have, Whitey, last year you couldn't do this. You couldn't entertain Richaun Holmes and Domantas Sabonis. I just don't think.
What happened to Richaun Holmes last year? He's gone now. We move on. but a lot of people were surprised. I was surprised that he just didn't play more because the year before when he played well. And last year at times he played well.
Yeah, I just think, he wasn't Mike Brown's guy. I think defensively, he wasn't a good on-ball defender. Like, he could help. He was a good help defender. Also, when he got his opportunities, he was turnover prone too. And so when I look at Rashawn Holmes' tenure in Sacramento, to me, it's one of the most disappointing because they signed him to a contract. Him and Tyrese Halliburton had great chemistry, great synergy. It looked like, man. Then he had the off-the-field issues with his baby mother. Then he had, a new coaching staff. Tyrese gets traded. And so it just became a situation where, a fresh start was needed for Rashawn Holmes. And I don't think he ever felt comfortable in Mike Brown's system. And then what they asked him to do is be a playmaker, be a guy that can facilitate. And I don't know if that was his forte.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I think that's why bringing in a guy like JaVale McGee, who, when I talked to him on media day, he says his playmaking ability from a passing standpoint is probably his most underrated asset. Everybody talks about the dunking and the defense and the block shots. He feels like he's a good passer as well. And so now you have a backup to Sabonis where the offense doesn't have to change a whole lot. You can still run your same sets. Now you just have JaVale McGee running. I don't think you could do that with Rashawn Holmes. I think when Rashawn Holmes came into the game, or anybody else, Chimezie Metu, whoever, your offense had to change because nobody could do what Domantas Sabonis did.
Yeah, you're lopping off one big avenue for your offense. Like, well, we can't do that anymore. Alex Lynn was amazing last year because of the fact that he hardly played at all. And then he was telling us Monday, and he's probably told you, the 5 games to go, Coach Brown comes to him and says, hey, you're going to play here because we want you to be ready for the playoffs. And he said he was really surprised. But he did play well, and he does give them a dimension. That said, I think he's a good player. I was a little surprised that they brought him back this year.
I was surprised too. But, one thing that Alex Lynn gives this team, obviously the size and everything like that, but he's a tremendous practice player. He's not going to complain about his minutes. He's not going to demand the ball. He works hard every single day. He battles, in practice. And so he's a great 11th, 12th man. He's a professional, a guy you don't have to worry about, low money, short money as well. And so, this isn't 2K, Whitey and listeners out there. You can't have all-stars at every position, 12 all-stars and every, you need glue guys. Look at, Udonis Haslem carved out a career in Miami just because he was a great leader, a great practice guy. And I think the guys love having Alex Lynn around. He's kind of a funny guy, has a sense of humor, cool dude. And so I think, Mike Brown and Monty, for what Alex Lynn can give you, rebounding, defense, he can run the floor, but he's an even better locker room guy. I think that was important to them.
That's another reason that a lot of people were underwhelmed by the Kings offseason. They didn't appreciate what the Kings did depth-wise. I mean, compared to a year ago, as you know better than I, it is night and day right now when you look at the depth that appears to be available to Coach Brown.
And that's the thing. I just finished my 3rd year with the Kings. My first year, they had a glorified G League team. They only had like 2 or 3 real NBA players. Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield. They were struggling. And so every year, that's one thing that Monty has done is improve the roster, giving you that depth. Because let's keep it real, Whitey. The Kings were severe. They were so fortunate last year health-wise. You can't bank on that again this season, right? You got to, if Fox happens to go down, if Monk or Herter or somebody like that, you got to have capable backups. And we were fortunate last year that nobody really missed extended time because our backups, especially at the bigs, you had Trey Lyles, Chimezie Metu, but, it kind of fell off. Terrence Davis. I mean, this is a much improved roster, a veteran roster that I think takes the game seriously, that are professionals, that come in and work hard every single night. And I think that's the kind of guy Mike Brown wanted, and Monty went out and got it.
Another reason the Kings appeared to be so healthy, though, was because they had so many guys, Sabonis chief among them, who was willing to play through an injury that other guys would have, and it would have been understandable if they'd said, I'm going to have surgery and I'm going to miss 25 games.
Yeah, and I know you talked to Sabonis, and this is one thing that he talks about. Sure, he could have had surgery, but he didn't want to miss time, especially the team was rolling, Western Conference, you go on a 5, 6, 7 game losing streak, you go from 3rd to 7th or something like that. And so credit to the guys and credit to the medical staff, too. Let's give the medical staff, Joel Nolan and all those guys, credit for keeping guys healthy, keeping them out on the floor.
Yeah, we're coming right back here, Drive Guys, with more Kings things. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael, Dave, asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
And the Drive Guys. Our first voyage is the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. And we're getting ready for a huge Sunday night football game, of course, the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, and the Kings preseason opener against the Toronto Raptors in Vancouver on Sunday. That one kind of snuck up on you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And, I like the fact that they have 5 games, preseason games this year, too. Usually they have 4, maybe 6, You start off in Canada against Toronto. I wanted to get on that trip, man, so badly, but it's here, This is a little later start, though, Whitey, than normal. Usually in the NBA, training camp starts the last week of September, and then your first preseason game would be right around today, October 3rd, October 4th, or something like that. So this is a little extra time for the guys, and I'm looking forward to it. When I look at this roster, and don't take this the wrong way. No, because I don't take this the wrong way. Because I was about to say something.
Whoa.
And please don't take it. I don't care about De'Aaron Fox in these preseason games. I don't care about Domantas Sabonis. I'm looking at Sasha Vezenkov. I'm looking at how they incorporate JaVale McGee. I want to see what Chris Duarte brings to the table, because I know my guy De'Aaron Fox is going to give us 25 points. Mark Domas down right now for 19 and 12 again. I want to see Keegan Murray. Is he more aggressive? And so, the stalwarts, when I watch the game, if Fox has the ball, I'm not going to be paying attention. I want to see some of the other guys, because I know our stars are going to deliver.
So who do you think in this first game has the most to accomplish by playing really well?
I think Sasha, because it's his first crack at NBA basketball.
I understand. I'm already thinking of him as one of the guys who's more established, but clear. I understand.
Yeah,
he hadn't done it yet.
He hasn't done it yet, right? Right now, he's been that guy we've seen YouTube highlights, and he's like a myth almost, a unicorn, like Bigfoot. I've seen, people talk about him, but I haven't really seen him myself. And so I want to see, you heard guys from camp saying he's, breaking all kinds of shooting records at practice so far. He's the best shooter on the team. I want to see it come Sunday against the Raptors. And I'm talking about from an excitement standpoint. Keegan Murray, if he goes off,
I would put Duarte up there, in my opinion.
Really?
I just think he has a chance. He has to show that, the last year in Indiana, it didn't go that well for him. And he's a promising player, and he has a chance to carve out a real role here, a significant role. But if he continues to kind of underperform, and he's been hurt, we talked about that, you know about that, then, I think there's an opportunity there, but I think he's going to have to earn it.
But Whitey, you're talking about the eighth, ninth man on the team.
I know, but this is going to be a good team. That's an important spot.
But that's going to be 15 minutes a game, if that, and if we're looking, it would be great if Chris Duarte came out and played well. I get it,
Davion Mitchell has to shoot well.
I want to see Davion. Can he shoot well? He's been working on his shot, obviously. He was down at Rico Hines' basketball camp at UCLA. He's been putting in the work. I want to see growth from guys, and I'm not talking about the Fox, Sabonis, or the veterans. And I want to see guys doing something that, I didn't know you had that in your game. I didn't know, Davion, you could, shoot the three off the dribble. I didn't know, Keegan Murray, you could put the ball on the deck, drive to the hole, kick out for an open through. I want to see the development that guys have made this season. I know what Malik Monk is. I know what Kevin Herter is, Trey Lyles, Harrison Barnes, but I'll throw Duarte into that mix because we haven't seen him really. Yeah. We haven't seen much of him. He was hurt most of last year, had a great rookie campaign, I thought, and, hopefully he can help this team.
Didn't Monk surprise you last year with his playmaking? We talked to him about that. And of course, he's like, I knew it. No one else knew it. But especially in the series against the Warriors, he was a much better playmaker than I thought he was capable of being.
I agree 100% with you. And the fact that he was being run as the backup point guard at times last season. Think about that. Mike Brown entrusted him. We knew Malik Monk was a scorer.
Can we keep him next year?
I know. We have to, right? But he might get paid. Might go out there and get paid.
And he knows it already.
Right. He knows it. But, man, he could be in the real running. Like last year, we talked about sixth man of the year and all that. I never thought he had a chance last year of winning that. Bobby Portis was doing well. Other guys were playing extremely well. But this year, I think he has a real chance to be that sixth man of the year. And, more eyes will be on the Kings this season. I think, clearly he can score. He had his best season of his career last year. I think the playmaking, not only him, but Kevin Herter also surprised a lot of people. And so that's one thing. I don't know about Chris Duarte. I can't tell you much about him, but hopefully he could be a playmaker as
Very
well,
cheerful
too.
Guy. He's incredibly cheerful. Happy to be here.
Upbeat, right? Upbeat kind of guy. And I'm happy for him that he got out of Indiana. I don't know necessarily what happened. I think, they made the trade for Tyrese. So that sort of took some minutes away from him. The injuries.
Hurt a lot.
The injuries. But being back with Sabonis, I think will help him. And so, when you talk about the depth of this team, last year we probably could go 9 deep.
Well, early in the year, KZ Okpala was
KZ, right? Yeah, KZ,
bless him, but still.
Kessler Edwards even, got some time. Now Kessler Edwards on the back end. If we use him, it's just for defensive purposes only. Probably this team could go 10 or 11 deep easily right now.
Where does Colby Jones fit into all this, or does he really not?
That's a great question right there. I think he's going to be, shuttled back and forth in between Stockton. I think he's an insurance policy. If somebody gets hurt, I don't see him getting a whole lot of time just because, he's a rookie, a second round pick. He's playing behind De'Aaron Fox. He's playing behind Davion. He's playing behind Malik Monk. You could slide over there, Kevin Herter. And so he's probably the sixth guard on the roster, sixth or seventh guard. And I don't see how that much time. Watch and learn. Exactly. And they can afford to do that, though. He doesn't need to be pressed into duty from day one. We don't need to count on him. I think he's a situational player, sort of like a guy, if you need defense, you need some length out on the perimeter. I think he's a situational player.
You mentioned Vezenkov.
Yes.
And one of the things that'll be really interesting in the preseason and into the regular season, assuming that he shoots anything close to the way we know he can shoot, it's going to be interesting to see the way teams defend him and how they, guys are going to can't give him room. You got to get on him. How are we going to play the pick and roll? That's going to be really interesting to see how teams decide, how do we slow this guy down? That is, if he's making shots.
Yeah. And that quick release that he has. And that's why I think he'll fit in seamlessly with this team because they need shooting. They need somebody to space the floor. They need somebody to create, even more room for De'Aaron Fox. You got the fastest guy in the game with the ball in his hands in De'Aaron Fox. You have, one of the best finishers in the paint in De'Aaron Fox. You got Domantas Sabonis. And now you surround those guys with shooters, whether it's Sasha and Keegan. I mean, kudos to Monty McNair. He's actually brought together a real-life NBA roster, a complete roster, and it's going to be a nightmare for opponents.
Does this surprise you? Because it surprised me. Asking of Vezenkov, what players that played with you and against you in Europe that played in the NBA, which of them did you ask for advice? What kind of advice did you get? He said, I just follow my own path. I'm not worried about it. So either he didn't want to tell me or he just really wasn't asking people for advice. He's a very confident guy.
But he's 28 too.
Yeah,
it's like he's not going to be a wide-eyed rookie. Oh my gosh, look at all these fans in the building. Oh my gosh, I'm making millions. He's already done that. He's already played at high levels. We're talking about the EuroLeague MVP. We're not talking about a scrub or some guy. We're talking about a guy that has a supreme confidence in himself.
was a EuroLeague MVP too, and bless him, a good player.
Right, he was a good player though. Yeah. He was solid. He was an okay player, but I think when you look at Sasha, he has a little more grit to him. That a little more toughness, a little more physicality to him. Just the way he walks, a little swagger to him. A little, I'm excited to see this guy. I think I thought it might take some time. I've limited him to 8-9 points. I think he's going to be huge for the Kings this season.
Yeah, Patrick Donaldson pointing out on the chat here. Didn't you mention Trey Lyles? Yeah, we have this team. We didn't even mention him. Yeah. Remember Facundo Campazzo?
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
We may have talked about this. I apologize if we did. Facundo Campazzo saying the biggest adjustment to the NBA. Did you hear?
No.
His story?
What did he say?
He said it's the trash talking. And maybe he got a little more of it because he's a smaller guy.
Right.
He said, and it was like he said it in his native tongue, and then it was translated into English. So it was a little awkward, but basically he was just saying, "Oh, it was brutal."
Yeah.
It was,
I love it. Hopefully Sasha gives some back though.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's going to have lots of opportunities. A very, very confident young man. How many languages does he speak?
What do you speak?
Three,
right?
Three.
Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah, and it looks like I could have learned more, but I just don't have the time. When we come right back, a look at what's going on in the Bay Area NBA-wise. Interesting news out of Warrior Camp about Chris Paul. Is he going to start? Yeah, you knew he was going to start next year. Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason, the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game is going to be showcasing a matchup against the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview that set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to more Drive Guys.
Got a question for you here, Drive Guys. KD and KG, the original KD, the original KG with you here on Sactown Sports. Talking a lot about the Kings today. Of course, we're also getting ready for the 49ers and the Cowboys. But here's a Kings question for you. You as a Kings fan, who in the West right now, who scares you and who does not? Does that work for you, Kyle? Who in the West right now?
Yeah,
hey,
I like that.
They're going to be good. And who in the West you look at and go, I'm not worried about that.
You know, we posed that question, and I want Kings fans to be honest. You know, I don't want this, I'm not scared of nobody. We could beat anybody. I don't want that. I want honesty here on the Drive Guys here. So, you can weigh in, obviously, on the YouTube chat. Hit us up, 916-339-1140. But that's a great question because the West is stacked. The West is loaded.
I'll give you 2 that you are going to probably try to shoot them both down.
Oh, I probably will. Go ahead.
Team that worries me, like I look at them, respect them, OKC Thunder. Team that does not, that I think is overrated, very talented, but overrated. I'm not buying any of the hype on the Phoenix Suns. You got to have a point.
See, here's the thing, Whitey.
Yeah. You want honesty?
No, is that
you can't handle the truth.
Is that honesty, or is that because everybody loves Phoenix and the big moves that they made that, you know what, I'm going to play the other side. I'm going to be that guy like, I'm
already on record. We had a chat a few weeks ago with Jerry Reynolds, and Jerry was actually with me on the Suns.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
See,
they're not going to be bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not a bad team, but they've got a lot of flaws. They got some age issues. The roster is kind of wonky. The Ringer today, we'll probably talk about their preseason rankings. They have the Suns in a group of like 4 teams. They could win a championship. That team's not going to win a championship.
So when you say a team that you're sort of out on, are you talking they're not a top 4 seed? Are you talking?
I think they're vastly overrated, and I think people that look at them as one of the few true contenders in the NBA, I just don't see them as that.
I disagree with you, and here's why. I think Devin Booker is a lead, and he's the guy that's going to make this all work.
This
is not Kyrie, Katie, and James Harden with their personalities and all their baggage. Bradley Beal is a great player. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA.
He's going to get a player on a bad team,
but he's going to get wide open shots now. Devin Booker's going to get great looks. I think Phoenix will beat you just on talent alone. And the addition of Nurkic is actually better for them, I think, than DeAndre Ayton. And I liked Ayton as a player, but Ayton wanted his shots.
Yes, I understand
he wanted
that.
his touches.
But I think Nurkic is really easy for teams that can shoot to play off the floor. I see how he's a better fit than Ayton for what they're doing.
I think
but
he's a
still-
better interior defender, like a one-on-one defender when you match up against a Jokic or something. Ayton and I know Jokic abuses everybody, but Ayton abused Jokic big time. I'm actually, I think Phoenix is a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. I'm high on OKC, but I think they're a year away from actually really, making some noise. So I'm not afraid of OKC. They'll be in the playoffs. They'll be a play-in team, but they're not on the Kings level just as of yet. So I'm not worried. For my money's worth, the team I'm worried about, let me start by saying the team I'm not, that I think is overrated. The Warriors are overrated. The Warriors' run is over. The Warriors are done. Their age, they're banking on 38-year-old Chris Paul, who has not been healthy in the playoffs since when? He hasn't completed a full playoffs and I don't know how long. Steph Curry is getting up in age. Draymond Green, I think we saw the best of Draymond, like the last best of Draymond against the Kings. Klay Thompson is a shell of himself. Steve Kerr talking about playing Klay Thompson at the 4. They don't have a good bench, I don't think. Their depth, where does Kuminga fit in? Where does Moody fit in? And so I think the Warriors' run is over. I think they're overrated. I don't think they'll finish ahead of the Kings. Mark it down. Clip this, Simone. Save this for April 10th or whatever the last day of the season is. Drapes, you were right. I want to hear you say that. But, I'm not worried about the Warriors. I do think the Lakers, I think they got something going on. I think the moves they made, you talk about a deep team and adding depth, I think the Lakers will be in the mix. The only issue is LeBron and AD. Can they stay healthy?
Exactly.
Can they, is AD going to play more than 50-something games?
With the new player participation policy, I don't know if that's going to have any impact. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't put them on that list. Otherwise, I agree with you because obviously last year when the Lakers started the season, they were a bad team.
Yes.
They were legitimately a bad team. And yet the team they finished the season with was a good team.
Right.
And they kept that team for the most part intact.
No, I agree with you. I think the Lakers, I keep saying, for the last 5 or 7 years, I look at LeBron James and I'm like, oh, they got Russell Westbrook. That's great. That'll take some load off of LeBron. They got D'Angelo Russell. That'll take – LeBron still has to be that guy for them to win, I think.
It's interesting, LeBron, as you know, last week or so, LeBron said AD's the guy now.
Right.
Now, he probably doesn't feel that, really, but it's interesting that
it should be AD's team.
AD
AD should be the guy. I don't, AD hasn't taken those reins and run with it. I think the Lakers are super deep. I think, Austin Reeves, a lot of people want to hate on him. He's a good player. He's a solid NBA player. He's a very good NBA player.
He's a very good player. I have a little Austin Reeves fatigue just because he's
all the hype.
I know,
exactly.
He's a nice player.
I'm with you on that. And I see how it could, turn people off regarding Austin Reeves. But I'm afraid of the Lakers. Not so much the Warriors or even the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies take a step back. I think with this Ja Morant stuff hanging over them, I think they take a step back.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You want to give us a call? You want to shoot us a text? Let's talk to Suki on Sactown Sports. Suki, you're on with the Drive Guys. What's up? Hello, Suki.
Suki just
hung up. Oh,
yeah,
man. That's
Suki called back.
Whitey's like, see, Kyle, I'm going to take a call. And our first call hangs up. And during the break, I was like, Whitey, we should try to get some calls in. I want to hear from our listeners. I want to hear their passion and what they think. And Suki hung up.
Suki had some free game about the Warriors. I don't know why you hung up.
Ouch. That hurts. That hurts.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're here all afternoon, so we got plenty of time. Memphis scares me a little more than you do. I understand everything you're saying, and I know that Jackson Jr. tends to get in foul trouble. I really like him. I think Marcus Smart's a really good addition for them. Marcus Smart in, Dillon Brooks out. To me, that improves them a lot.
Really?
Because Dillon Brooks, I saw so many times last year, he took so many bad shots.
See, but I'm actually a Dillon Brooks fan, and here's why. I think the level of hate thrown his way was totally overboard. I think he received too much blame for what happened with that team. all season long, the narrative was about Dylan Brooks taking poor shots, taking bad shots.
But he does take a lot of bad shots.
I never heard that from Taylor Jenkins. I never heard that from his teammates. They stuck up for him.
Where is he now, though?
They did get rid. But Dylan Brooks, 3 years ago, Dylan Brooks was ahead of Desmond Bane. Dylan Brooks and John Morant was the backcourt that was supposed to be great. Then Desmond Bane came along.
Desmond Bane's way better than Dylan Brooks. Well, shooting-wise.
Shooting-wise.
Yeah.
But let's not act like Dylan Brooks can't shoot. He had a bad season. I just saw him light up Team USA for 39 in the World Cup. Not saying the World Cup is the NBA, but there's a reason why the Houston Rockets decided to give Dylan Brooks an $80 million contract.
Because they don't know what they're doing.
I think, that's that Dylan. See, here's the problem, Whitey. As I listen to you, I got you figured out now. You're taking what is happening on social media, the narrative on ESPN, on Twitter and everything. Dylan Brooks is a good player, but everybody wants to dump on him now.
He's a very good defender.
I'm going to pull up his numbers. You're making me upset.
He shoots them out of games. You look at his three-point shooting and how many shots he took last year, and you can see why they were willing. Maybe they used him as a scapegoat a little bit with everything that went down this year, and that's not fair.
That's what I'm saying. It was a scapegoat.
I understand that, and yeah, he doesn't deserve that. And yeah, he's a solid defender, but you watch them play in that Lakers series, it's like, oh my goodness, he feels ordained by God to take the big shot in certain situations where, do you know who that is? That's Desmond Bane right there. He's a better shooter than you, Dylan Brooks.
But listen
he's
to
stubborn. He's like Westbrook. He's a little stubborn because he thinks he's a better shooter than
you. I got the numbers to back it up. He is a better shooter than what he shot last season. He was 36% his rookie year, 37.5% his second year, 36 his third. Those are solid NBA percentages. And I'll tell you for a fact, there are those within the Kings organization that looked at Dylan Brooks and said, man, I wish we had that kind of guy on our team. Because he's that toughness. And so it backfired. When you bark like that, when you play like that, you got to be able to back it up. And he didn't back it up last season.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Bill joins us. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports. How you doing, Bill?
Doing all right. It's Phil, not Bill, but it's all right.
Phil,
my bad.
What you got, Phil?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Warriors. I agree with you guys. I think the Warriors are way overrated. If Chris Paul's going to be in the lineup with Curry, you got two small guys that don't play any defense. Curry used to hide with Klay Thompson guarding all the best players. Then they're saying Klay Thompson's going to play the 4. And then they lost Jordan Poole scoring off the bench. He used to average like 20 points per game. Their bench is all playing defense. I don't know. I think they're a playing team at worst. Or not at worst, but at best.
At best.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
Phil, thank you. My man. I agree. I just think, you
don't like, and it's fine, but you don't like the Warriors, huh? You're kind of like the way I am towards the Seahawks.
Yeah, I am a little biased. I am a little
observing.
jaded. Yeah. When I look at the Warriors, I love Raymond Ritter, who's their PR guy. You know Raymond. Raymond's the best of the best. But what transpired last season and in the playoffs with their fans and the Draymond stomp and everything, it really turned me off to them. And, this was a team that struggled to win on the road last season. And I know they have championship pedigree, but let's go down and look at their age. Steph Curry's 35. Draymond's 33. You got Klay Thompson. Let me pull him up. He's 33. So these are the guys that are Chris Paul, 38.
And you consider Klay's surgeries. He's
Exactly. He's older. Klay had a solid season offensively, but he's not the defender that he used to be. And as great as the Warriors have been during their run, to me, it wasn't their offense that made them great. It was their defense.
I agree with you.
And I don't think their defense is going to be as good. I just don't think they have great on-ball defenders anymore. Klay's not that guy anymore. You can't hide Steph anymore. And so I just think the Warriors are overrated. I'm with Phil. I got them as, maybe a 5-6, maybe even a 7 kind of seed. I just, I don't get this Vegas hype. Some people had them at 51 wins, this upcoming. I'm like, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 in the West. As a Kings fan, who scares you? Who do you respect in the West? Who are you not frightened of at all? Phil and Kyle just piling on the Warriors here. And we'll look at the Warriors' plan for their starting lineup going forward. It's Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason here on Sactown Sports Drive Guys.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece Mod Box mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor car track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Another tough one for the Silver and Black, as they are tired of seeing Khalil Mack, who tormented them with 6 sacks of rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who was filling in for the injured Jimmy G. O'Connell battled the team back, but a late pick stopped the comeback, and now the Silver and Black are just 1-3. Up next, they return home for a Monday night game against the Packers. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
And what a time it is to be talking local sports. Drive guys, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. Got the Kings preseason opener Sunday. Also Sunday night, the 49ers play. Let's see, who do they play? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys. You can hear that game here on Sactown Sports. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Our question, as a Kings fan, who in the West are you? Whoa, watch out for them. Who in the West are you? Get out of here with that. On the text line here, some comments from the 916, Mr. Draper. Who are you rooting for Sunday night? That's Frank and Antelope. Frank, You put
somebody
your name on it.
said that.
Good job.
Was that on the text line? I don't have access. I need to get access to that. Who am I rooting for on
also spells your
Sunday?
name with an I, so it's Drapier.
Oh,
yeah.
I was just in Paris.
Yeah.
So that's French. Drapier.
Yeah.
That's a tough question because here's why. My loyalties are to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's so crazy. I grew up a Cowboys fan. We went over that before.
Mm-hmm.
But the station, we are the home of the Niners. If the Niners lose, that's good for my Eagles. But the Eagles' rival are the Dallas Cowboys. Can we get a tie? I want a tie. How about that? I want a tie. I want a 27-27
You know
tie.
what? Just say, hey, Frank, I'm rooting for the Kings Sunday night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Thanks-
You're right.
thanks for
Yeah,
asking.
I'm rooting for the Kings Sunday night. But no, that's a tough matchup, man. Either way, I like to think of it like this. No matter what happens, the Eagles win. You know, Cowboys are a division rival, a threat to the Eagles. If they lose, then Eagles gain more ground and separate themselves from Dallas. If the Niners lose, and I've told you, and we've talked about this, I think the NFC Championship game comes down to who has home field advantage, Eagles or Niners. If it's at Levi's, then I got the Niners winning. If it's at the Link, I got the Eagles. So I'm okay no matter what happens. Whatever happens, I'm going to be happy.
From the 916, Domas played 4 in Indy, didn't he? It didn't work. Yeah, when he was paired with Miles Turner.
Right. Yeah. They
why
say it
eventually-
didn't work, but I thought it wasn't that bad. But Miles Turner is a stretch big, though.
Mm-hmm.
He can shoot the three. And so I think that, and he's a great defender, shot blocker, that kind of thing. I just think, when you look at Alex Len and you look at JaVale McGee, if they can improve their shooting, open up the floor, I think it works a little bit better.
I'm with you. I wouldn't say it didn't work. I would just say it got to a point where they hit that ceiling and they got as good as they were ever going to get.
Exactly.
And they realized, well, we want to get further than this, so we're going to have to make some moves.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it actually worked for a while. It was fine. They were fine with it, but they reached the ceiling. They had plateaued that unit.
Mm-hmm. Here's the word from Golden State, Steve Kerr, yesterday. I'll just read it. Coach Steve Kerr said on Tuesday that not only would Chris Paul start, but the defensive rotations for his fellow stars would change quite a bit, especially for Klay Thompson. And Kerr said via The Athletic, Klay would guard the 4-man. Well, good luck with that, Warriors. Remember, last year, statistically, the Warriors had the best starting 5 in the NBA. They trade for Chris Paul. I understand that. There's a lot of talk about, is he coming off the bench? Is he not? He says publicly, whatever's good for the team. The next day, the coach comes out and says, oh, he's starting. Chris Paul wants to start. He's insisting that he start, and it's to the detriment of this team. It's hurting this team if he starts.
Steve Kerr said that?
No, I'm saying that.
You're saying that?
I'm saying that. If Chris Paul starts and that is not the best thing for the Warriors. Come on. If Klay's playing the 4? Klay Thompson playing the 4?
No, you're right. You're 100% right, Whitey, and I agree with you. But I also want to add on to that. If Chris Paul finishes the game, that's a detriment to their team as well. Like, at some point, Chris Paul is going to have to be on the floor. But their optimal lineup doesn't include Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Wiggins. Like, those 4 on there with Draymond or Looney, that's not their optimal lineup. Draymond's a best at the 4, Looney's at best at the 5, and then you got to mix out those other 3. And so the question isn't to me who starts or what. It's come winning time down the stretch. What's your 5-man lineup?
Like Magic called it
winning time.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's your lineup? And is Chris Paul out there? And if so, who's on the bench? You're not putting Wiggins. You could argue Wiggins, their second best player after Steph Curry, obviously. Steph is going to be on there. Does Klay go to the bench? Does Draymond? Does Looney? Do you go small to close games? And I think it'll be situational, obviously. If you're winning, you go with your best defensive lineup. If you're losing, you go with your best offensive lineup. But this Chris Paul thing has, has the potential to blow up this Warriors team.
I'm with you.
This could get bad quickly.
They appear to be in denial about a couple of things, like Chris Paul wants to start. Okay, that'll work. And Clay's going to play the 4. Oh, yeah, all right. We'll be fine. Well, no, those are bad ideas. I think where Chris Paul may be most valuable to this team is if he's on the floor during those minutes where Steph is out. And there aren't many of those, but they're very vulnerable. Sometimes, especially a couple of years ago, when Steph was out, the Warriors were like a hockey team that had somebody in the penalty box trying to kill a penalty.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't have enough guys until he comes back. So Chris Paul would help with that. But obviously in his mind, he's a lot more than that. And that's where they're running into problems. And the Kings should benefit from
that. And the Kings should benefit. And, you know, Kerr's talking about starting Klay Thompson, you know, at the 4 spot plan. Is Klay guarding Zion Williamson? Is he guarding Karl Anthony Towns? Anthony Davis? I mean, who's he guarding out there, you know? And so
I may have to go with my big lineup, double big lineup if I'm the Kings and I'm playing against.
Oh my gosh, Sabonis would punish that dude. And so that's why I think, you know, it never made sense to me to go out there and get Chris Paul. I know you want an adult in a room. I know you want a guy that can settle things down, run the offense. But Chris Paul has always been a starter. He's the point guard, they call him, for a reason. He needs the ball in his hands. And so if you could have got Tyus Jones, traded Tyus Jones from Memphis instead of letting him go. That would have been a perfect backup. Somebody like that, not necessarily Chris Paul, who's 38 and wants to start, is going to be a starter. This is a 2K move that Mike Dunleavy Jr. made. This is a video game kind of move.
They allowed themselves to get behind the 8 ball on Jordan Poole, and then they were forced to do something, which ultimately, all things considered, hurts them potentially as much as it helps them. But I was wondering, did you hear Pablo Torre and his explanation for why, supposedly the real reason why Draymond punched Jordan Poole? Did you hear it, and do you buy it?
I did see that. Refresh my memory again.
Pablo Torre says that what happened was they were saying things, of course, and then the final straw, the last straw, was when Jordan Poole says, "You're an expensive backpack for 30." And that was the one.
I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that. That's the final straw. I think it got a little more deeper and a little more personal.
That's pretty personal.
But it's true, though. I mean,
he
is
going to get paid talking to a guy who's won championships, and it appeared to be a guy who was on his way out.
It's true, though. Where's the lie at? Draymond Green, as good of a player he is, you know, and I've always said this about Draymond, and I know we're up against it, and maybe we'll talk about this in the next hour, but Draymond on any other team isn't as valuable. He's not as good. You send Draymond Green to the Washington Wizards. Is he really Draymond Green? Is he just, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
I just think he was a perfect compliment to what the Warriors did.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could kind of say people are saying the same thing about Brock Purdy on another team. Is he still any good? We're back to Brock Purdy. Tell you how Purdy and Kittle could play the Cowboys like a fiddle this Sunday night. We're right back with that here on The Drive, guys. It's Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason on Sactown Sports. Yes.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouth-watering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to Sactownsports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Seth Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Seth Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Seth's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game is going to be showcasing a matchup against the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview that set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to more Drive Guys.
Yes, Sunday night we got not only the Cowboys and the 49ers, but we have the Kings and the Toronto Raptors.
Yes.
Where's that game going to be played, Simone? You know, Sunday? Where the...
Going to be in Vancouver.
Vancouver, thank you.
I want to make that abundantly clear in case anyone thought that it was maybe taking place in Toronto as they are matching up against the Raptors. But yeah, large country, our neighbors upstairs. Yeah.
Neighbors to the north. We the North! Did you see, Kyle Draper, what Masai Ujiri, their general manager, had to say this week about Pascal Siakam? And somebody was asking, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it basically was, are you committed to him next year because he can be a free agent? And he answered with, well, some of our best players played very selfishly this year. Like, wow.
talking about a multiple-time All-Star,
Yes.
the face of your franchise right now too. But let's not get it twisted. Masai Ujiri, he's cutthroat. This guy that traded DeMar DeRozan. Remember? I mean, one of Toronto's arguably their greatest player ever. And so, no, he's. I'm surprised that after all this offseason, all the news, Pascal and OG are still on that team. Remember, they were involved in every trade rumor out there, and the Raptors didn't pull the trigger on any of them.
You know what? I know they were talking about this today. Chris and Alan were talking about this, and I was thinking about this, and Chris and I were talking about it after the Dame Lillard trade. In recent NBA history, if you look at teams that went out and got superstars in free agency, some of them have had a lot of success. But you look at teams that have acquired superstars through trade, Toronto is maybe the exception. They got Kawhi, they won a championship. But a lot of those teams end up underperforming, and I think a lot of it has to do with how much it costs to get those guys.
Right. It goes back to you, and you remember this trade. Remember Carmelo Anthony, the trade from Denver to the Knicks. If he would have just waited till the offseason, he could have signed as a free agent, and they still would have had Danilo Gallinari. They still would have, I think, Amon Shumpert might have been on that team. You still would have had players to build around, but instead he forced his way out the trade, and then the cupboards are bare. Same thing with Anthony Davis and the Lakers. You just wait, sign with him in the offseason. You still have Kyle Kuzma. You still have not Kuzma, Brandon Ingram. I mean, you still have some of the other players that they had. And so no, you're right. Trading for a superstar, it's tough because you look at Lillard now, you look at Brooklyn and what they did. James Harden going to Philly. Look, like it just hasn't worked. It's because you give away your draft capital. You are unable to make other moves to surround the talent with these guys. And so, no, you're right about that.
Yeah. So I know there was a lot of talk about the Kings, maybe inquiring as to the availability of OG Anunoby and Siakam, but you consider how much it would cost to get those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's no guarantee that either of them would be around long-term either with their contracts. So just wasn't worth it. On the chat here, smartest listeners in radio with some comments on the NBA, CK916 says, Golden State Warriors Arena is going to be changed. They're going to change the name to the AARP Arena. You like that one?
I do like that.
Yeah. Patrick Donaldson. Chris Paul's a pick and roll point guard, not a motion offense point guard like the Warriors one. Will be interesting to see what happens there. And Campio Silva says Draymond and Paul cut from the same cloth. He says, before Thanksgiving, Kerr and Paul will have a fight.
They're two, and I'm talking about Draymond and Paul. They're two hard-nosed, hard-headed individuals. And I could see some fights in practice, things boiling over, getting too heated. They're two competitors too. Like you want that kind of guy on your team, but now you got two of them. And I agree with Campio, I just don't see how it works. I think, there will be some dust ups. Like if he could, but Jordan Poole is different. I was going to say if Draymond can't get along with Jordan Poole is a smack talker. He's one of those guys that, chirps a lot, is in your ear. He's one of those.
Draymond saw him as you haven't done anything.
Right. And Chris Paul is a future Hall of Famer. And, the one
if
thing.
If they win, it works, right? But if they run into trouble, then they're going to have more trouble.
And the one thing the Warriors, if I'm inside that locker room, I'm listening to all the noise outside, all the doubters, and that's why I'm going to make it work. So if I'm Chris Paul, I'm listening to all the, he's going to want to start. That's why I'll say, you know what? I'll come off the bench because I'm listening to all that hate outside the organization.
I've mentioned this before, but a couple of years ago when I was doing filling in the Bay Area, one of the big questions was who's going to end up being the bigger star, Joey Bart, James Wiseman, or Trey Lance? And look,
wow, and they're all gone. Well, Bart's going to be.
None of them are close to
none
what,
of them. Yeah, exactly. So
I really think the pandemic hurt a lot of young prospects in a lot of sports.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know if I can't say that was each of those guys. That's why they're not the players that we thought they'd be at this point. But I think that was for a lot of guys. They lost a lot of really, and women too. College sports, significant developmental time.
Well, I mean, when you look at you can look at the quarterbacks. from a couple classes ago, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, like all those guys are like barely hanging on. Mac Jones might be out of New England after this season. And so, maybe you're right. I don't know if it hurt them or we didn't get as much tape. We couldn't evaluate, fully, we didn't get the 3-4 years or whatever it is to fully evaluate these guys. And so our evaluation was skewed because we didn't get to see them.
You still kind of like Wiseman, don't you? Is it Wiseman?
I do. No. I like Wiseman. I think Wiseman has some potential. I thought he needed to get out of Golden State. It'll be interesting to see how they do with him in Detroit. But he's kind of I don't want to say a dinosaur, but, he's great defensively around the rim, but can he guard the perimeter? He's shown he can shoot the ball, but not consistently. I don't know. You talk about an underachiever. He's been an underachiever. I'm hoping a new situation will help him out.
Sometimes they have an extra stanchion, an extra basket.
Yeah.
The only way James Wiseman would be an effective rim protector, is if they gave him a gun and a whistle and they said, go stand by that extra basket and make sure no one comes near it. That is the only way he's a rim protector.
He should be,
only way.
But no, he should. What's he, 7'1", says something like? He should be. He's long. He's athletic. I think he's a good off-ball defender. You know what I mean? Like, come over, he could get blocks. But no, don't get me started, Whitey, on the Wisemans of the world.
He's a good off-ball defender.
I maintain the organization you go to is so important. He did not get Steve Kerr was not in on him from day one, pretty much, I thought. He was in Steve Kerr's doghouse. And what they did to him by sending him to Santa Cruz the way they did, he went to an awful situation for his development. He didn't go to an Orlando or an OKC where he could play through his mistakes and develop. Same thing with Trey Lance. And so I also maintain the organization you go to is more important than where you're drafted, like the number. I'd rather be drafted later to a perfect organization where I can develop and grow and have the right teaching than be a number 1 pick and go to, or a number 2 pick and go to the Warriors and not even, get time to develop. They didn't even, I don't think they put stock into him, put effort into developing him.
I think what happened with them was the owner saw him as one thing and the coach saw him as something else. And the coach was like, well, he's not going to play unless he defends. And he wasn't a good defender. And then it's like, okay, well, we have to play him anyway. And then he got hurt. But to your point, it's a great point. Of course, the Spurs for years were known as one of those teams that, how do they find these guys?
Right.
Well, they just were great at developing players. And the Kings for years were terrible at that.
Right.
Terrible.
All the draft picks.
It appears that is changing. Not only are they drafting better players, but they're doing a much better job of developing those players. And it makes a critical difference in the development of your team.
The hill that I'll die on, and I'll continue to say it, Kawhi Leonard does not become Kawhi Leonard if he doesn't go to San Antonio. When he doesn't have, Tim Duncan, and he doesn't have Ginobili and Parker and doesn't have Greg Popovich. Like, they brought him along great. And here's the difference between what the Warriors did and what the Spurs did. Kawhi Leonard played alongside those stars and developed. Moody, Kuminga, they get us a few minutes. Wiseman never really got to play alongside Steph Curry for an extended period of time, Obviously, he got hurt. He had some injuries, got sent down to the G League, but he didn't have 2 years to learn and play alongside them. And whereas Kawhi played right alongside him and fit in well and fit in seamlessly.
I don't think there was any resentment, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, they didn't look at Kawhi and go, who's this guy?
Right.
Whereas the Warriors did, because some of the veterans looked at the young guys and said, they're bringing them in here to replace us. And there was a rift there.
No, that's true.
And that's where that championship culture that was so important to the success they had started to crumble. Now, they did win. They beat the Celtics a couple of years ago somehow, some way, which I think when all is said and done, people will look at the Warriors and say, that's the one that, wow, I don't know how they did that. But now they're still dealing with some of the fallout of that.
No, I 100% agree. And I go back to what I've said before. the Warriors dynasty was great. It was great. You get 4 titles, awesome. But it could have been extended, meaning I feel like their dynasty, their run is over. If you would have developed Wiseman or Kuminga or Moody, they were supposed to be the next wave, to play alongside Steph, and they just haven't developed. I mean, even Kuminga, during the postseason last year, he couldn't get in. Moody got some minutes, but those guys, I just haven't seen the improvement in the player development,
They could have drafted Halliburton when they drafted Wiseman. They could have drafted Franz Wagner when they drafted Kuminga. And I said they should have at the time.
Did you say that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All
but
right.
they wanted to swing for the fences, and they thought, these guys, we need our next superstars, and these guys have the most upside, also have lower floors, so let's roll the dice. And here they are saying, Chris Paul's our guy.
Unbelievable. Yeah. This is their final year, and I just don't think it'll work. I just don't.
We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, as promised, a quick look at Kittle and Purdy and how they are fitting to hurt the Cowboys next year. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Question for you, Kyle Draper, on the YouTube chat. It's a Drive Guys here, Draper, Whitey Gleason. Compio says, Draper, and there's no I in it, so they're spelling it right now. Draper, do you think Keta will get major minutes with Boston since the trade of Williams to Portland?
No, I don't think so. They just brought in Wenyen Gabriel to be the backup center, and Keta is still a couple of years away, but I do think he's going to be an NBA player someday. I think, he has an upside that he just didn't fit in, his timeline didn't fit in with what the Kings needed at this time. They needed a capable backup right now, and Keta, is still a couple of years away, I think.
Earlier we were talking about how early in the year last year, the Lakers were not a very good team and nothing against them. But to that point, remember Wenyen Gabriel played a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Early on, right? Yeah, exactly. And I thought he looked good, too. I thought he played pretty well. Our old friend Wenyen Gabriel, obviously a former Sacramento King. But, and then it just didn't work out. They made the trade. They brought in Rui Hachimura. They brought in some other players. And then Wenyen Gabriel fell out of the rotation.
We'll get back to the Kings and the NBA bottom of the hour real quick here with the Cowboys and the 49ers coming up. Here's my theory, Kyle. What do you make of it? What do you think? You think it's great already, don't you?
I love it. I love it. It's amazing. What you got?
When they played in the playoffs last year, George Kittle had 5 catches for 95 yards in that playoff matchup. Purdy wasn't great, but Kittle played a large role. And the thing is, the Cowboys play a lot of cover one stuff, so they got one safety. That's because the other safety plays the run. So he's cheating on the run. So that means they got to play a lot of man-to-man stuff underneath. And that means Kittle is a tough matchup, man-to-man, and that means he's going to have opportunities. And that's where the 49ers, especially in the red zone, are going to dominate the Cowboys.
I agree 100% with you. I'm totally on board with your thinking there. And, when you brought this up earlier, I said, you know what? Whitey might be right. And I think not only Kittle, but look for Debo also. I think those two guys, in one-on-one coverage underneath, safety deep, probably trying to guard against Ayuk going deep. And so look at the middle guys. I think Debo will have a great game. I think Kittle, who's sort of been the forgotten man. I would say, in this offense this season. I think this is an opportunity, for those two guys to get right. And if you're Dallas, I get it. That's your scheme. But I don't think you could cover those guys one-on-one. Like Debo you can't. And that's the poison you have to pick, though, when you go against the San Francisco team. I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to CMC. They're going to try and stop the run. And so that's why I think
they did a decent job of that in the playoff game, but good luck.
Yeah, and that's why I think Debo and Kittle are going to have big games.
One of the things I've enjoyed to watch the 49ers this year, and also listening to them here on Sactown Sports, and we knew that he's a good route runner, but you watch in isolation some of the routes that Ayuk runs, and they're incredible. Where, plant come one way and then plant come back the other ways. How does anybody cover somebody doing that?
And I think he's probably one of the most underrated wide receivers out there. Nobody's really talking about him. And, all the guy did was, catch for more than 1,000 yards, open up the week with Offensive Player of the Week in week 1. I think, Debo gets a lot of love. CMC obviously gets a lot of love. Brock Purdy on the Today Show. But Brandon Ayuk is pretty darn good, too.
Yeah, he's not the fastest. He's not slow, but he's not the fastest. He doesn't compare favorably speed-wise to some of the guys the Dolphins have, but he's got a big payday coming up next season. And he's it's just everybody says it. It's true. How many weapons the 49ers have. It's incredible. And Dallas have figured it's like, pick your poison. You want to stop the run? All right, then you're going to have to play man-to-man. And I think that's the 49ers' biggest advantage in the passing game this week.
Yeah, and I wonder, if I'm defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, how do you attack this Niners team? I think, when you look at
Dan Quinn.
Yeah. I'm put on my coaching
almost
hat.
Won a Super Bowl, Coach. Nice job.
Yeah, almost, right? I put on my coaching cap, and I think you got to bring pressure. I think you got to win the line of scrimmage battle, and that means stopping the run and getting pressure on Brock Purdy.
Didn't you see what Brock Purdy did against pressure when the Giants blitzed 85% of the time?
He gets it out quickly. Yeah. He gets it out. He gets it out quickly.
Your defense is a little better than the Giants defense, I know.
And I'm not saying can the Giants, the Cowboys front four, can they get pressure on Brock Purdy? They're good enough. I think, the Giant, the Cowboys pass rush is, with Micah Parsons, and we saw it in week 1 with TJ Watt. He can get back there and cause some havoc. Watt did that, late second quarter and in the second half. If Micah Parsons can get, put some pressure on Brock, but it's just too many weapons. And we talked about it last week. Brock Purdy, his decision-making is what separates him. Forget about the arm. Forget about the weapons. He knows what to do with the football, whether throw it away or hit the weapons early.
Do you think with Micah Parsons rallying all the Cowboy fans, they're going to just fill Levi's? Will the 49ers be able to hear Brock Purdy's signals when they have the ball? Will it just be, Cowboys!
Cowboys! When I went to the Cowboys game down in Dallas, their pregame, their tailgating is second to none. You all roll through and you hear "We Dem Boys" everywhere, That's not happening up here in Santa Clara. No, I'm sorry. Niners fans, and that's one thing I appreciate about them. They travel, and they're not going to let you come up in their building like that. It's going to be a sea of red. And this is a big test for Dak Prescott. This is one of those games that, you know what? If you want to be that guy, you want the love, you want the respect, come out there and win a game like this on the road.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't play well, but he plays well in the playoffs, and they actually do something. He's fine. But, this is a critical year for him in Jerry Jones' eyes. So it's an especially significant for him, not only this week, Dak Prescott, that is, but also in terms of his Cowboy future and whether he's going to have one.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about Dak and the Cowboys, you can go back 25 years. In my opinion, they've been one of the most underachieving teams. They get all the hype, they got all the talent, and yet when it's time to win a big game, like we talked about, it just doesn't happen. And I like
You're
Dak.
Old enough to remember. I'm older than you, but the Cowboys were always in the playoffs
good.
And quite often in the championship
game. Exactly. And I'm going even before Troy Aikman and them. I'm going back to Staubach and Danny White.
Yeah.
They were always in the mix. And, this Cowboys era of Cowboys football, they do good in the regular season, but then they crap the bed come the postseason. And so to Dak Prescott, he's a good quarterback, a very good. I could argue he's a top 10 quarterback, but he just can't get him over the hump. When he needs to make that play to get the win, he just can't do it. And I'm looking at the YouTube chat now. Our boy Campio says Prescott is overrated. Every Dallas quarterback in the last 30 years has been overrated, in my opinion. Tony Romo was overrated. But I maintain, you put Dak on this Niners roster, you can't tell me they're not still a Super Bowl contender.
I think
also,
he'd do pretty well.
Yeah, and so
I think
he'd be all right. He'd be halfway decent, right? And so no, but this is his season. You're right about that. And I don't know who they turn to after this season. Is it Trey Lance? Do they go out there and make a trade? Do they bring in a veteran quarterback? I don't know, but this is
Kirk
Dak's
Cousins,
side.
maybe. I don't know.
Kirk Cousins, yeah.
Do you think that I know we were talking about this before the show? Brock Purdy, is he close now to becoming the face of the 49ers on the Today Show? And of course, NBC is just promoting that they have Sunday Night Football. But I think,
you're shaking the head.
Usually with a quarterback, it's like, yes, of course. But on this team, it's like, I don't know.
Can they have multiple faces of the organization?
Remember when we had Chris Biederman on, you and I, and he said, it's Kyle Shanahan.
It's Kyle. But I think it's Kyle for NFL people. I'm talking about the people at home that don't watch football, that don't care about,
well, for them, the face of the NFL is Taylor Swift.
It's Taylor Swift, right? But, Tom Brady transcended sports. Like, obviously, people outside the NFL knew him, obviously, but if Brock keeps winning and if the Niners win, I think his story starts being told more. The last Mr. Irrelevant coming out of nowhere. It's going to
be a really stupid movie about him.
It's going to be a movie. That's what I'm saying. Like, Brock Purdy is about to become that guy that casuals know who he is.
Mm-hmm. If they win the Super Bowl.
If
they win the Super Bowl, then Kyle Shanahan, everything he's done is he's not vindicated, but it's like, yes. What's the word when validated?
Validated. Yes.
Everything they've done is validated, and he and his dad are a father-son coaching tandem that have won Super Bowls. But again, as we've said before, their cap space is looking pretty decent for next year. But with this team, if you don't do it this year, then there's going to be a lot of in your own head wondering, I don't know what I have to do to win.
Right. The roster is there.
Yeah.
I think the NFC is wide open outside of the Eagles. Obviously, those are the top two teams. What more can you do if you're Kyle Shanahan and if you're John Lynch to build a roster, a Super Bowl roster? This is arguably the best roster in the entire NFL. And so now they just got to go out there and do it. Now it's just play the games. You got to play the games and see how it plays out.
I will say this. There's been a lot of talk of how your Eagles are kind of underwhelming. And I know I was on with Zachariah yesterday, and he says, they're just not playing that well. That's true, but I don't care. I mean, the fact that they aren't playing well and they still haven't lost a game, they're terrifying to me.
That's scary. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. They're winning without their A game right now. Jalen Hurts doesn't look that great. The run game is on point, though. The ground game has been great. But no, I would be afraid if I'm the Niners or another team. It's like, we're not even getting the Eagles' best shot, and they're still finding ways to win games. And so, that's something to keep an eye on, man.
Coming up next, back to the NBA and the Kings. The Ringer has some preseason rankings. They put the Kings behind which teams? The sad truth is next here on The Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Quick Quack Car Wash.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear tonight. Temperatures will stay pretty mild during the evening hours with light winds. Temperatures by morning will drop down to around 60. Look for a high tomorrow of 92. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
There's just something about fall that makes me want to enjoy every moment. The changing leaves, the pumpkin patches, and you know what else won't last? Quick Quack's new pumpkin spice scented car wash. Text SPICE to 41284 to get 50% off any wash.
Klein tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece ModBox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Is your dog leaving frowny piles of poo all around your yard? Well, we need to introduce him to Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food, the fastest growing premium dog food in the country, made with organic seaweed for easy digestion, family owned and operated for 50 years. 6 interchangeable recipes. You can grab some at Safeway, Save Mart, Smart and Final, Winco. Learn more at SupremeSourcePet.com. Supreme Source, a solid choice.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game is going to be showcasing a matchup against the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview that set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to more Drive Guys.
And what a great question here in the chat. What do you think, Kyle Draper? This is from one of the great listeners in all of radio, Rock and New Era 84. He asks, is Mike McCarthy the NFL version of Doc Rivers?
Ooh, got the one ring.
I like Doc, and I think McCarthy's kind of I don't think there's much there. So to me, I don't see it that way, but it is an interesting question.
Yeah, got a lot of talent, underachieves with it, gets multiple jobs, keeps, resurrecting himself. Maybe. Would they get rid of McCarthy?
Doc is a good coach,
No,
and
Doc's
I don't
a
think
good
McCarthy
coach.
is. To me, that's the big
Right,
difference.
I'm 100% with that.
But I
Doc's a good coach. Doc has achieved a lot. He just hasn't gotten over the hump. Like that Clippers team, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. They had it. They had their shots. They just couldn't get over the hump.
Mm-hmm. It's the Drive Guys here. Thanks for being with us. Our first show, kind of giddy with excitement here, but we're also excited because, of course, the new NBA season is upon us, and that's why the Ringer has today. Kyle, I'm not a huge fan of power rankings, but here we have the NBA preseason power rankings. So you got, just going quickly down the list here before we get to what's juicy, the Wizards, the Hornets, the Pistons, the Trailblazers, the Spurs, the Rockets. Then you have blow it up candidates. These teams stuck in the middle without a clear path toward contention. You got the Bulls and you got the Toronto Raptors. On the rise, the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, the Utah Jazz, the Brooklyn Nets. The wild cards teams are enigmas with talent to soar and or the volatility to implode. They got Minnesota and Dallas and Atlanta. Then we get to the category that the Kings are in.
Yes.
Young and hungry. These teams, led by youthful stars, are quickly on the rise with the potential to disrupt the established order around the league. Again, this is according to the Ringer. 15, Oklahoma City. 14, Cleveland Cavaliers. They won 51 games last year. 13, Sacramento Kings. 13's, in that what they say they are as far as young and hungry. That's not bad, but they have them behind the New Orleans Pelicans and the New York Knicks. What?
So the guy that wrote this, Kevin O'Connor, that's my guy. Good friends with Kevin O'Connor. KOC. Him and I go back to our
Get him on the show so we
can
yell at him.
Simone, we may have to get up Kevin O'Connor here in the next segment. But he's an analytics guy. He's a numbers guy. And Domantas Sabonis isn't necessarily an analytics streak. Like, he's not a three-point shooter. He's, and so I would imagine some of what Kevin O'Connor said is because of his biasness towards Domantas Sabonis. He said he earned all NBA honors for his regular season contributions, but his shortcomings as a shooter and rim protector became an issue in the playoffs. Can the Kings reach a championship level with Sabonis as their center? Question mark. And so, and that's a valid point. That's a valid question. But to have them behind the Knicks and the Pelicans, and this is why I throw out what Kevin O'Connor had to say, because I want to continue on real quick here, Whitey.
Yeah, take your
He
time.
has the Golden State Warriors at number 6.
Yeah.
And he says, and if you read the Warriors, they're knocking on the door. This is the knocking on the door section. He's excited to see Chris Paul with Curry, Thompson, and Draymond.
Knocking on the door to the old folks.
Yeah,
home, am I
exactly.
right?
He says it's going to be weird. Will it be a match made in basketball heaven or a wild experiment gone wrong? We won't know until Draymond returns. But what's different for Golden State this season, aside from CP3, is the trade flexibility. Talking about Kuminga, Moody, and the draft picks. So he's saying the reason that they're number 6 is because of the trade flexibility.
Because they can get somebody else.
Right, exactly. So he did not make a case for why Golden State would be number 6. And so I have to immediately throw out this. And Simone, I'm about to text you Kevin O'Connor's numbers, see if we could get him on here. I just don't get this love for the Warriors, and nobody can explain to me why they're going to be a great team.
And then just look at the top-ranked teams, for what it's worth, in this power ranking. How many of them are from the Pacific Division? They've got Denver 1, Boston 2. Then they've got the Bucks 3. Then it's Phoenix 4, Lakers 5, Warriors 6, the Grizzlies 7. You're not high on the Grizzlies at all, right?
And he's got him 7. And when you look at what he says, Ja Morant will be suspended. We know that. Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart will. He doesn't give any reasons why they will be as good as they are. As long as Morant keeps his act together upon his return, this team could be a force. But he's missing 25 games. If they go 15-10, that'll be good. I just don't see it.
Yeah, he says with Smart and JJJ, the Grizzlies are armed with the past 2 defensive players of the year. But Smart is not, and I like Smart, but he's not the defender.
He wasn't. Yeah, last year it was a bad defensive year for Marcus Smart. He's not that game changer. At least he wasn't last year.
And they have the Clippers 8th, according to these power rankings. So look how many teams in the Kings division that are ranked ahead of them. Hey, that's fine. That's not a bad category to be in, but, young and hungry. But there's still a little bit of disrespect, I think, showing through there for how the Ringer really feels about the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I just don't get,
fine.
And we've talked about it before. If I'm a Kings player, that's all fuel. I'm eating that up. It's like we still got tons of doubters out there. We still have so much to prove. I mean, what have the Knicks done? Why are the Knicks ahead? I can see Cleveland. Cleveland had a great year last season.
Right.
I get it. Okay. We're rated ahead of Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a good team. They finished 4th in the East last season.
Grimes has untapped potential. That's part of the reason they give here. And I like him too, but still, really? It's interesting when you read some of these reviews of the Kings. I think Kevin O'Connor's one of them here. O'Connell or O'Connor?
O'Connor, yeah.
O'Connor, pardon me. He's one of them here. A lot of the stuff you read about the Kings, they kind of aren't sure about, for example, Vezenkov, right? So one of the most underrated acquisitions is Sasha Vezenkov, who I am extremely high on because his sharp shooting skill is tailor-made for Mike Brown's offense. So they're just putting it out there. So it's like, well, if they're really good, I told you they were really good, but I don't know. And he says the Kings fans want more. The Kings appear to be super competitive. So it sounds like that's a team that they know they could be really good, but I'm going to give more love to the teams that are better known and have more superstars.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like everything's positive. It's, Sabonis, is had an all caliber, all NBA
season.
season.
Doesn't like Sabonis either, does he?
No, because those are numbers guys. They,
interesting.
If you don't shoot the three, they don't like you, And
he only shot it at 37%.
Right,
year, so.
exactly. But I also think that they believe, in their defensive metrics. And I don't know how Domantas Sabonis grades out on their defensive metrics also. It's just something. You're talking about a 3-time All-Star, an All-NBA third team, but the level of disrespect is still there for Domantas Sabonis. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should read this from Arthur Smith. My folks from Memphis say they okay, I thought you were talking about your folks. I guess you're talking about the team. My folks from Memphis say they might be in a hole by the time Ja comes back with the West being so good, might not make the playoffs, and I would put Sacramento as the 7th instead, says Arthur Smith.
So he would have the Kings 7th instead of the Grizzlies, Mm-hmm. I'm with that. What have the Kings done this offseason that would turn people off,
It's just that for people that don't know, I could see how if you're not sure, it's like because they've made those under-the-radar kind of sneakier moves. And so it's like, well, I don't know. Is that good? Look at what the Suns did. That's sensational.
Right.
And the Warriors got Chris Paul. My goodness.
And that's the problem with, everybody's all about the headlines, the clicks, the things like that.
Winning the offseason.
But one of the things when you talk to, coaches and players, what about continuity? What about chemistry and letting that develop instead of always trying to make changes in and out? And that's one thing Mike Brown mentioned to me during media day is that, he loved the fact that Monty just is letting this team grow and develop instead of just looking for some quick fix like we've seen other teams do.
Should I apologize to Arthur because when he said my folks from Memphis say they might, I thought he was saying,
where were you going with that?
Buried.
He says I have relatives in Memphis.
When he said
folks,
my folks, I
his
thought
people.
like they're older, and his people are like, we're going to be in the ground by the time Ja comes back. That's what I first thought he was saying. And that's not what he's saying at all.
Not at all. He's saying his people.
Me.
His people back in Memphis.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
They think the team will be in a hole. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. TC's with us on Sactown Sports. Hello, TC. Thanks for hanging. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Whitey? What's up, Drake?
Yo, TC, what's up?
What's up? Just tapping in, man. Look, check it out. So y'all know, man, diehard Niner, diehard Kings fan. So let's the Kings, first and foremost, don't sleep on them, bro. They could be a sleeper NBA Finals, and that's just not me being a homer, man. They could really be a sleeper NBA Finals. JaVale McGee came over. He's not really I'm not going to call him some type of superstar needle mover, bro, but dude's going to come in and have everybody laser focused for sure. And as far as the Niners, let's check it out. Everybody don't get caught up in the fairy tale land, man. Brock Purdy's doing cool. Shanahan need to stay out of his way. But they got to win the Super Bowl, bro. They got to win it all this year, period. It's not none of that get to the playoffs, NFC championship game, today TV. You can do all these interviews all you want, bro, and then get knocked out in the playoffs. That's not a successful season. Don't get caught up in a fairy tale. You can have fun this season, but the end goal is a Super Bowl, bro. They got everything they want. They got the real deal quarterback. You got all these star players and all that. Ain't no more excuses, bro.
TC,
win the Super Bowl. There's no.
Do you have a score for this week? 49ers Cowboys. Do you have a score for us?
I go. Let me see. I go 24-13 Niners.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Thank you, TC. Good to hear from you.
That's kind of low scoring,
You think
right?
it's going to be higher scoring?
Yeah, I think it's going to be higher scoring. I think, this Cowboys offense, you look at their what they've been able to do. They're fourth in points. They're averaging 31 points per game. They have all the weapons. They got a ground game. They have a passing attack. The Niners defense, pass defense, hasn't been that great this season.
Okay, you're right.
They've been okay, but they haven't been great. And so I think it'll be more like 31-24, 35-28, something like that.
You know, you want to see your team win, but I would like to see some more closer, more competitive games. You know,
but there's been terrible competition, Whitey, up until this point. This is the first real NFL team, a contender that they're going to face, and so this is a big test under the lights, Sunday night football, and so I'm expecting a tight game. This will be a good one. I think this will be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be a big win for the 49ers. Coming up next, guess who was practicing with the Sixers today? How about that? Next year in the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Gold Country Casino Resorts in Oroville is thrilled to present American Idol winner Chase Beckham, Saturday, November 18th.
Now I'm 23.
Don't miss out on your chance to see this talented country artist live.
If you don't take in the back porch fireflies.
Get your tickets now to see Chase Beckham at goldcountrycasino.com, November 18th at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get ready for the ultimate online auction experience. TMC Auction presents an exclusive event October 7th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., giving you a preview of top-notch items to elevate your construction projects. Bid on TMC Auction October 10th in Moseville for unused mini excavators, shipping containers, forklifts, construction tools, floor scrubbing machines, scissor lifts, toolboxes, and major brand appliances, all with warranties. TMC Auction, the name for unbeatable deals. Join our virtual auction extravaganza at tmcauction.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
You heard it from TC. What did he say, 24-13? Is that what he said the final was? Yeah.
Yeah, he said a low-scoring game. That's pretty low.
So there you go. I mean, might as well watch
and listen.
listen.
Faith
here,
in that Niners defense. Huh?
Yes. Well, after what Arizona, the way they ran the ball down the Cowboys' throats, there's every reason to think CMC is going to go off this week. Huge game. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Drive Guys, KD and KG. On the text line here, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 from the 916. Hey, guys, I'd like to point out that the Kings got the same kind of criticism for not making any moves at the trade deadline last year, and look how that turned out.
That is true.
Text of the day
100%
nominee
true.
right there.
Yes. 100% true. In Monty, we trust. You know, and I'll say, since I've been here, the moves he's made, they pretty much worked. Trading Tyrese. I didn't want to see Tyrese go, but Sabonis was a culture changer. He came in and helped change the culture. You know, drafting Keegan Murray, you know, drafting Tyrese even, you know. And so he's done a great job, Monty has. And he tunes out all that outside noise and just does his job.
By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. It's interesting because Monty studied under Daryl Morey.
Yes,
right? But
yes.
they don't really, right now anyway, go about it the same way.
They're a little different. They're a little different. Exactly. They're a little different. And Daryl Morey, he's involved in a storm right now. And a conundrum, if you will. And
Yes.
I don't see how he gets out of it.
Well, it was actually a sunny day for the Sixers today, or at least it appeared to be. James Harden participating in virtually the entire practice, and by the accounts of everyone involved, looked good while doing so. James Harden working out with the Sixers today.
Good for him. Good for him. You know why? Because if he stayed away, he might get fined. He might lose some money. He wants his money. How do you rectify that situation, though? That's the question. If you're the Sixers, how do you rectify? Harden's there, but he doesn't want to be there.
Right. Yeah. Nick Nurse said he looked good. He looked good. Participated in the majority of practice anyway. Looked like he's physically in good shape. How ludicrous is this? He was here and everything seemed to be fine.
He's fine.
My read on that, to answer your question, Kyle, is it looks like they're going to just hope against hope that without any other choices, he's going to come in and play for them. And they're going to get something approaching a good version of James Harden.
Yeah, and I think that's a win-win. That's the best case scenario for both parties. And if I'm Daryl Morey, this is what I do. We know James Harden doesn't trust me. We know he said he won't play for a Daryl Morey team ever again. I'm calling James Harden up. I'm inviting him in my office, and I'm saying, James, I know you don't want to be here. I know you want to get traded. I will do my best to trade you, but you have to come here and compete. You compete, play hard, that boosts your trade value, that boosts interest around the league, and you makes it easier for me to trade. The more you sit out, the harder it is to trade James Harden.
Daryl, you told me you're going to trade me before and you didn't trade me. Why should I listen to you now?
You have no choice.
That's it.
You really don't have no choice, right?
We're not promising you anything, but if you increase your trade value, there's a better chance we can trade
Exactly.
you. We're not promising you anything.
Exactly. And this is, and I like watching James Harden play. Like, I'm one of the few that actually doesn't mind the dribble, step back three. I'm okay with it. But the way he forced his way out of Houston, he forced his way out of Brooklyn, and now he's forcing his way out of Philadelphia. Matt Barnes said it. Kendrick Perkins said it. He's in danger of being out of the league. The way he's forcing his way out of all these teams, and that's why he hasn't been traded. You know, I forget who said it. You know, I think it was Mark Spears. No, Stephen A. Smith today, actually, on ESPN said that the Houston Rockets were going to offer James Harden a max contract. You know, sign here, sign a trade, we'll max you out. Well, Harden in the meeting, this is according to Stephen A., talked about how he wanted to revert back to Houston, James Harden, lead the league in scoring, be that kind of player again. And according to Stephen A. today, Houston said, no, thanks, but no thanks, because that's not what we want. We got a young team.
Ball dominant.
Yeah, we don't want you to be ball dominant. And so, you know, James Harden, who is James Harden now? He actually had a good season last year, Whitey. Statistically, he was good. He just flamed out at times in the playoffs.
Really up and down.
Really up and down. But he won 2 games for the Sixers against the Celtics last year, scoring 40+. And so I don't know where he fits in the league anymore. What's a good team for him? What's a good situation for him that could be better than where he's already at in Philadelphia?
I agree. And according to reports here, what the Sixers are trying to do, they're trying to create an atmosphere that is acceptable to him. They paid him 25% of his contract on Friday. That was due by Sunday. That after already having paid the initial 25% payment he was scheduled to receive on July 1st. We're just trying to figure ourselves out as a whole group. That's I think that's Tobias Harris. So everybody's teammates are saying, yeah, I mean, he's here. Hopefully we can go forward with things. And obviously the ball almost literally is in his court here. But I think you're right. If you're James Harden, what else are you going to do? You're going to quit and go to China?
Right. And here's the thing. With James Harden, the Sixers are good enough to compete for a title. I don't know if they could beat Milwaukee. I don't know if they could beat Boston. But last year, they could have got it done. Like, they had the pieces. But the players Embiid and Harden, they just didn't show up against the Sixers in the biggest of moments. But roster-wise, that's a good roster. That's a good team. And so I don't know what James Harden wants. Like, why is he begging out of all these situations? I understand Brooklyn was sort of dysfunctional with the Kyrie situation, but why wouldn't you want to play with Joel Embiid? Why wouldn't you want to play with a team that can challenge in the Eastern Conference? I just don't get it.
Do you think Nick Nurse can be the agent of improvement there? Because it's hard to see that team. How are they a lot better than last year? Clearly, they have to be better than last year, even though they were 54-28. So how are they going to be better? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. That's assuming he comes back.
Yeah, and I question whether Nick Nurse is the right coach for James Harden as well. Doc Rivers was a player's coach. You know, you talk to anybody, players love Doc Rivers. Nick Nurse is very critical of players. Like, if you're not getting it done, he will let you know, and he will let you know in the media. You ask a guy, hey, Nick, how come he's not playing? Well, he didn't do A, B, C, or D. You know, Nick is very truthful and open when it comes to that. And that's not going to work. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's going to work with James Harden. Whereas I thought Doc Rivers sort of, you know, is a player's coach, shielded him a little bit and covered for him a little bit. And so I don't know how that mix is going to work.
I just think there's too much drama. And when you're playing, you know, assuming they get anywhere near the finals, you're in the playoffs, you're playing against really good teams. The more buttoned down you are, the more cohesiveness that you have, continuity. It's a real advantage in the biggest games. And I think there's just been too much drama for that team to really realistically have a chance to compete against teams like the Heat, the Celtics, and the Bucks.
And to your point, it's all fine and dandy during the regular season. But when you're in the trenches, when you need to look across and count on that other person, can Embiid really count on James Harden?
We saw that in that Boston series last year.
Exactly. And so you're 100% right. And it's not about X's and O's and how you play basketball. It's, do you trust your teammate to deliver in the biggest of moments?
I don't know that James Harden has ever really, if winning has been the most important thing. And that may sound like a terrible thing to say, but, you know, some guys like to win. I'd like to win, but there are other things that are more important to him. And I'm not sure he's, you know, it's almost unhealthy what a competitor you have to be one of the best players in the NBA. And I just don't know if being James Harden.
What more could he do, though, Whitey? What more could he? I mean, because I'm looking at the Celtics series.
Well,
and you know,
stop quitting on teams and stop sabotaging situations because he's not happy with exactly the way things are set up for him.
I don't know if
he could also guard somebody.
Right, he guards somebody or just show up in the big moments. You know, he turtles. It seems like when they need him the most, he turtles, and that's before Philly. That's going back to Brooklyn. That's going back to Houston. I mean, he's been that guy his whole career.
But they are better off with him, and he's better off with them right now.
Yes,
and I think the league is more interesting if he's there. Don't you?
No, he's great. He's great for sports talk radio. He's great for, you know, fans. Like, he's still one of the more popular players in the league.
Coming up next, which Kings newcomer will have the biggest impact on the 2023-24 Sacramento Kings with Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and, and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game is going to be showcasing a matchup against the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview that set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. And Blue Jays will also be watching the World Series from home this year. Twins top them 2-0. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back in to more Drive Guys.
Got an all play for you. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Drive Guys. Just, I think it's almost time we turn around and start heading back for home today on our initial journey.
Right? It is.
Yeah. Almost.
I'm ready.
Almost. Heading that back in the right direction. But the question is, which Sacramento Kings newcomer is going to have the biggest impact? And Kyle, I know this is something we were kicking around earlier. It seems almost too easy on the surface, doesn't it? Because isn't there an obvious answer from Bulgaria?
See, but that's why I brought up this topic, because I'm going to go somewhere else with it.
Really? You're not going to Bulgaria?
I'm not going to Bulgaria in the EuroLeague MVP. As great as Sasha is going to be, he's going to be amazing. He's going to have a huge impact. I think JaVale McGee is exactly what this team needs, not only from a basketball standpoint. JaVale McGee is going to give you the rebounding. He's going to give you the shot blocking. He's going to give you the physical, the toughness, the size that you lack. But he's going to give you the locker room presence that you need as well.
Now, he's never really been known for that, has he? Or am I wrong?
I think the whole Shaqtin' a Fool narrative sort of, clouded the judgment of him, which I think was unfair to him. I think he's a very good basketball player who has matured, obviously. He's won 3 championships. He's been on 3 championship teams for a reason. And I think just what he brings day in and day out in practice is going to be so impactful. You won't be able to measure it by stats or anything like that. Obviously, if we want to talk, who's going to be the most impactful, I could just look at stats and say, oh, Sasha's going to average 12 points, so that's going to be impactful. But I think JaVale McGee, the way he's going to empower De'Aaron Fox, the way he's going to be a leader, he's going to be a vehicle for Mike Brown to, get the guys. Like, I just think he's going to be the ultimate locker room presence for this team. Just from speaking to him and hearing the way he talks, this team has already been focused, locked in, but I think he adds an extra level of laser-like focus to this team, and I think he's going to be the biggest impact.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Want to shoot us a text, give us a call. Which newcomer will have the biggest impact on the Kings this year? Let me, if I may, play devil's advocate.
Please do, yeah.
If everything you say is true, what happened last year for JaVale McGee in Dallas?
Same thing that happened for Christian Wood in Dallas. Dallas, as great of a player as Luka is, as great of an organization, Mark Cuban, it was a mess last season. You're talking about a team that didn't even make the playoffs. You're talking about a team that traded for Kyrie, and that, didn't work out. That didn't propel them. I just think it was a bad situation. And the fact that Mike Brown coached him in Golden State and signed off on bringing JaVale McGee back here to Sacramento is all I need to see. If JaVale McGee was a problem or was a malcontent or a locker room cancer, Mike Brown would not bring him back.
And I'm in no way I don't know that he's ever been that, but I'm just wondering, if as good as he's been and why he didn't play more. I was in no way suggesting that's the case.
I just think the Mavs system, they like Maxi Kleber. He's a 3-point shooting big. JaVale McGee's not that. JaVale McGee, is a rim runner, is a guy that plays defense, blocks shots,
See, it's stunning to me but it's stunning that we all have a pretty good idea what kind of player he is. They thought they knew. They bring him in, and I think he started the first few games, and then it's like he didn't play. Well, what did you think he was?
Right.
We all know what JaVale McGee is and what he brings to the party.
And JaVale McGee does not mesh well with Luka in terms of basketball style. Luka's a ball-dominant guy. JaVale McGee, at his success, with the Warriors, they were moving the ball around. He's a better playmaker than I think people give him credit for. And so I just think it was a bad situation. Think about it. We saw Christian Wood, he would go off from time to time. He's not even on the roster. What happened there? Like, something with their bigs. Look at their bigs that they had. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber. Those are a specific type of bigs. They aren't, Wood is a guy that wants to showcase his offense.
Right. That's a problem.
So that was a problem with him. JaVale McGee, from all I see, he's not a malcontent. He's a good locker room guy from everything I've seen. And so I don't know why it didn't work out there in Dallas.
Yeah, I just think it was a symptom of, as you say, they had some dysfunction there, and they weren't sure what they're doing. The Mavs strike me as one of those teams that are cross purposes because you want great players so they'll help you win. They have a player that I'm not as crazy about him as a lot of people, but I understand why everyone's crazy about Luka. But they're trying to keep him happy so he doesn't leave.
Right.
But they're more concerned with that than they are with winning, and that causes problems.
Yeah, and I look at Luka, and there needs to be a specific kind of player to play alongside with him. And I don't even know what that is. Like, he had Kristaps Porzingis. That didn't work out. Now he has
kind of worked, but they just didn't. They didn't like it.
Right, they didn't like it.
They were a really great offensive team.
They actually had a nice little run. Didn't they make it to the conference finals with them too?
Yeah, I believe they did.
Yeah, that one season, I think they did. And so I don't know. And this Kyrie experiment, great offensively. They'll be on Sports Center. They'll have highlights, but I don't know if that's a winning formula. And I don't know what Luka needs to turn into a winner. Like, who needs to be around him? It's a guy that puts up numbers. He is clutch. He's a clutch player, but man, they're not close to being a championship contender, and they didn't even make the playoffs last season.
Yeah, actually, the year they went to the conference finals was, well, let's see. That was after Porzingis was hurt, I think.
Oh, he got hurt there.
Yeah, that's what the lost.
All right.
Warriors. But anyway, yeah, they had some success there. But so as far as JaVale McGee goes, point being, the fact that it didn't work out in Dallas is not necessarily a blemish on his resume.
Right,
It's
exactly.
It's Dallas.
Exactly. It's Dallas. And the fact that Mike Brown has history with JaVale McGee, that's all I need to know. I think this guy is exactly in terms of a backup center what we need too. Length, athleticism.
He's got more athleticism, I think, than a lot of people realize.
Yeah.
And I realized that recently, not too long ago, I was looking at one of his mixtapes. It's like, wow.
Dude, and yes, he could sprint the floor. He could jump out the gym. He's a lob threat, too. We didn't have a lob threat on our team last season. Think about that. You know, when De'Aaron Fox gets downhill, imagine JaVale McGee coming off from the opposite side. I mean, that vertical spacing that he provides is going to be huge also.
Well, if you're right, if he has that kind of impact, that bodes very well for the Kings, obviously. You look at what he did with even Phoenix a couple years ago. He had a really good year.
Yes.
His numbers, he was really impactful. I still think it's going to be Sasha, just because I think McGee's minutes will be limited. I agree with you. It's a great pickup, but I think Sasha has a chance to really open some eyes. And, you know, he's probably coming over here too late in his career to be a superstar, but I think he could become still a star player over the next couple of years. Because
What's
he's
his
an
role?
elite
What do you
shooter.
think, though? Like, is he a starter? Is he the sixth man? Like, what do you see from Sasha?
My guess is that eventually the idea would be he supplants Barnes. Not right away, maybe not this year, but if he's as good as they think he is, you know, Harrison Barnes had a really solid year again, but he is on the, you know, the back nine. So I would think Sasha, maybe next year, maybe this year, if he really plays well, he slides into that role. I think it's going to be determined by how well he can defend. He's probably not going to be a great defender, but you were at Media Day and you heard Kings talking about how he's a better defender than people think.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think he has a chance to be a starting player, and like I said, a star player and just an incredible shooter.
No, I agree. And I think everybody that they went out and got, Chris Duarte also, they're going to impact the team. You know, and the thing about Sasha, when you look at, you know, his numbers, obviously at EuroLeague, the way he shoots the ball, I think he has a toughness about him too that I really like. And I think coming here, playing alongside Fox and Sabonis, the looks that he's going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get a lot of open looks. And, you know, they're already talking about him setting records in practice, you know, shooting records, being the best shooter on the team. And so when you have an elite skill like that, it's going to be hard to keep him off the floor. And so I got him at 25 minutes a night. Like, he's going to be a quality player. That's for sure for this Kings team.
And, you know, if you know anything about basketball, you played junior high, anything, you know anything about basketball, and you watched any of the video, the first thing that pops for you, if you're looking at how does he fit in with the Kings, like, wow, he moves really well without the ball.
Yes.
That just pops.
Right. Yes. And imagine a defender trying to chase him around, you know, around screens.
No fun.
And, you know, all he needs is a split second to get that shot off. And so that's why come Sunday, he's going to be one of those players. I'm looking at him and see how he adjusts. Can he get that shot off in the NBA? And I'm expecting big things from him.
So Duarte has a chance to have an impact as well?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, which Duarte are we going to get?
Yeah,
I thought he was great in his rookie year. I thought, you know, he was tremendous in his rookie season. Then obviously fell out of the rotation a little bit, got hurt last season in Indiana. But when you looked at the analytics, the numbers of him and Sabonis when they were together in Indiana, you know, it was off the charts. And so I want to look at him. What position does he play? You know, he's kind of long, athletic. a little lanky kind of guy. And so I'm looking at him come Sunday also to see how he adjusts and plays.
And I think if the Kings are going to get to where they hope to get to this year, they're going to need a really dramatic improvement from Keegan and from Davion. And I think they're both capable of delivering that.
Yeah.
Or at least one.
I think Keegan's ready to take that leap. I think this is a crucial year for Davion because the knock on him from day one has been the shooting. We've known that. We know there's a reason why he only played in 8 minutes in Game 7, and it was because he was an offensive liability out there at times. And so he's been working hard in the gym. He's been getting up shots. His confidence looks up, from what I've seen in some of the videos that he's posted and things like that. He looks great. Now he has to translate. I thought he started off slow last season, new system, new coach with Mike Brown, maybe didn't have his confidence, but by the end of the year, I think it changed. And so I'm looking forward to that also come Sunday.
You remember when he came out of Baylor, and I know the Warriors were looking at him, and there was something of a consensus among scouts that his ceiling was a good bench player on a good team.
Yes.
But I still think he could be that, maybe even a little more, because he can defend so well if he can make shots.
No, I agree. And that's the thing. It's like, sure, we want to talk about his shooting, but we saw him when De'Aaron Fox was out his rookie year. He was pretty good running the team, offense. And so I think it wasn't mechanics or anything. It was fit. It was comfort. It was mental. He comes back in a much better mental spot, much more confident, third year in the league now. So I think he'll be better.
I do think he has the ability, which I think is vastly underrated in the NBA, to run an offense. Some guys can play point, but nothing really happens.
Right.
But he understands how to get a team into its offense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I saw when De'Aaron Fox was out. Like he was a point guard. He ran the offense.
The offense is functioning.
It's moving. It's flowing. And so I will say, when you look at what the Kings do, they play through Sabonis a lot too. So Mitchell doesn't have the ball in his hands as much. And so maybe that hurt him a little bit last season.
Coming up here, Bleacher Report has another list. NBA's top 10 duos. Should Sabonis and Fox be among them? Bleacher Report. What do you think? Next here, Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper, it's Whitey Gleason here, Drive Guys. There are a lot of people on the chat that are, I don't think excited is too strong of a word about JaVale McGee. People are looking forward to seeing what the big fella can
McGee's
bring.
going to be, I think they like his press conferences so far, his media sessions so far. He's saying all the right things, and he got me excited.
Mm-hmm. Arthur Smith says, good choice, McGee. He can show these young players on and off the bench to help teach the system. Kings needed a vet experience who can also play. That's a vet bench experience.
Yep.
I apologize. Yeah. And people excited about Sasha too, of course.
These are all moves that did not make SportsCenter There weren't any Woj bombs, I don't think, or anything like that. But these are moves that will help the Sacramento Kings. We talked earlier about the depth of this team, and that was an issue last season. No offense to the guys that are no longer here, but now you have guys with specific skill sets, especially at the big spot. The JaVale McGee addition, he brings something that we just didn't have. Who was our shot blocker last year?
You didn't really have
exactly. You didn't have one. Who was our big lob threat? Didn't have one.
No.
And so I think this adds to what this team needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand your point about him in the dunker spot when you get penetration on the other side of the floor.
Right.
And, yeah.
You got to, if you're a defender, you got to pick your poison, make a choice. And so I think he's going to feast out there for the Kings.
Do you consider Domas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox one of the top 10 duos in the NBA? Maybe you don't care.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
And before we get to Bleach Report, and I'm going to say, no, go ahead, Whitey, go ahead. I'm going to say, because this is about to make me mad. I feel it already. Go ahead. I'm going to just sit here. Go ahead.
Bleach Report. Top 10 NBA duos. This is after the trade. This just came out.
Oh.
This is after the Dame Lillard trade.
Okay.
So this is updated. Number 10, James Harden, Joel Embiid. And please stop me at any point if you have comments or you want to protest or...
You want me to start right there?
Well,
obviously.
I'll start there. That's ridiculous. When one guy is barely even at practice, you can't. Top 10. I mean, maybe if he decides to stay, but okay, fine. Yeah,
right. I'll give them that. I'm not going to argue that. James Harden had a tremendous regular season last year, but he might not even be on the team opening day. So to me, that's a top 1.5 or something. A big 1.5, not a full 2. But go ahead.
NBA's top 10 duos according to Bleacher Report. Number 9, Emo Butler and Bam Adebayo.
Emo Butler. I'm okay. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to. You know what? I'm a big Bam Adebayo fan.
I am too.
I think Bam's, better than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Jimmy Butler, he's getting up there in age, a little long in the tooth, but we saw what he did in the postseason. I'm not going to. I got a couple. I looked at the list. Okay. Trust me, I'm going to argue some. There's a few I'm going to argue, but I'm going to let you slide with those.
You know what I think my issue is with Jimmy, and obviously, he saves a little something for the playoffs, but there's no greater competitor, in the NBA. But I remember, I mentioned this yesterday, Kyle. I don't know if you remember this. I think this was before you were here. He was with Minnesota, and it was right before they traded him, and they had a big game here. And, it was right after he had that issue where he beat the starters in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
And he missed 2 free throws at a crucial part of the game. And a lot of people here said he did that on purpose. And I don't know. But
wow.
Yeah. He was trying to force his way out, and he missed those on purpose. I don't know about that, but I just have a hard time just forgetting about that.
That would be the lowest of low. Like that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
That would be pretty bad.
Have you ever seen the movie Finding Forrester?
Yes.
Yes. Isn't there, I think, what's the kid's name? He misses a
You're
free
going
throw.
back, though. You're going.
Yeah, but there's a missed free throw in that. You're the man now, dog. Yeah. That's a good basketball movie.
That was a deep cut.
Yeah. Well, there's a missed free throw in there. It made sense. But anyway, we move on. Number 8, top 10 duos in the NBA. Steph Curry and Draymond Green.
That's awful. That's awful. That's like 97% Steph Curry and 3% Draymond Green. This is
Curry and his backpack.
So, right, think about it. You could throw Steph Curry with anybody then. If you're going to include Draymond Green, a guy that, sure, he came up big in that one game, 21 points, I think it was, in that huge game. I think it was game 5 for the Warriors. But you know what? Steph and anybody could be on this list.
Yeah,
really, if you're going to include Draymond.
I know Draymond's not popular here for obvious reasons, but aside from what you think of him, they're not really a duo.
Right.
They're on the same team, but
that's it's not Batman and Robin. And before you go on, here's what I consider. Here's my criteria. If you were drafting the players, what order would you draft them? So let's say Steph Curry and Draymond and Fox and Sabonis. Number 1, Steph Curry. But then number 2, 3, De'Aaron Fox is a bonus, right?
Right.
And so
then pass.
And then right, exactly. Pass. Exactly. Anybody want to trade up? You can add this spot right here. Exactly. And so I have an issue with that. I think Steph and Draymond are behind De'Aaron and DeMontis.
7th top duo in the NBA, Kawhi and Paul George. Maybe in theory, theoretically.
When they play, right? Yeah. When
is the Dumbo right operating in fantasy land today? Because that's where this comes from.
Yeah. I'm gonna put our guys ahead of them too.
Number 6, Jason Tatum, and you got Brown, Jaylen Brown.
I would take them. They're a better duo. I would have them higher, to be honest with you.
Me too.
I'm shocked that they're way back at number 6. And so to me, they're a top 3 duo in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not as good as number 5, Luka and Kyrie. Come on.
What the heck? Why are people still being bamboozled by Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? They're great offensive players, but it doesn't equate to winning. This is a 38-40 win Dallas Mavericks team. This is ridiculous. This is why I don't look at Bleacher Report, Ringer, none of these kind of things. Luka Doncic and Kyrie are better than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
Can you think of one moment? You probably can. You see a lot of games. One Luka Kyrie moment. As I'm trying to think of it, I remember Kyrie had a really good game here when Luka wasn't playing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But then once Luka came back and they played together, we beat them. And so I can't remember one.
Number 4, LeBron and the Brow.
I'm not going to argue it. It's the only issue with those two is health, right? That's when Anthony Davis went on a tear last season before getting hurt. And so I'm not going to argue that.
I'm not either. I mean, they're phenomenal. I don't root for LeBron. When he's done playing, I'm going to miss him terribly.
Yes.
I'm going to miss him terribly.
Yes.
And I want him to lose every game. But when he's done, come back. And Anthony Davis, I think people forget how good he was earlier in his career.
Right.
And he's still phenomenal.
No, he's still phenomenal. Yeah, exactly. And I would take Anthony Davis on my team any day of the week.
Number 3, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Okay. I'm not arguing that. I'm fine with that.
I think Kevin Durant, earlier I was saying that I'm kind of down on the Suns. I'm not a believer in the Suns. Kevin Durant is the difference maker there. If he's still Kevin Durant, and last year he got hurt just walking across the floor.
Yeah.
I believe Kevin Durant is underrated. And everyone knows he's great. He's unbelievable. When he was on the Warriors, some people say, who's a better player? Steph or KD? It's like, no, that's not even a question.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a reason why he's the 2-time Finals MVP when he was there.
Yes.
And so, no, I'm with you. And I think that duo, Devin Booker to me is like, I love Devin Booker.
Me too.
And so I think, they're top 3 also. Yeah. I'm okay with that.
There's a question. Okay, you got one shot in the finals all time. Who do you want taking it? Everyone says Michael Jordan.
Kevin Durant?
I would certainly consider him.
No,
and
he's
Kareem
clutch
too would
too.
be up there.
Yeah,
as well,
Kareem. Yeah. But no, I'm with you. Kevin Durant is a sniper. He's awesome. He's amazing.
You can get any shot anytime he wants, right? Basically,
right.
Yeah.
He instantly makes a team a contender when he goes there. Yeah.
Number 2, Giannis and Dame. Nope. Can we wait till they're actually on the floor together?
We ain't seen one preseason game.
2 duo in the league.
Practice. On paper, though, I'm okay with that, though. You're talking 2 30-point per game scores. We got to see how it gels, how it works and everything like that. But I'm not offended by that, Whitey. Why you show up in arms over that?
Because they haven't played a game together
But they don't need to. We know who they are. 1 + 1 = 2. We don't need to see them together. We know they're great.
I would like to see them on the floor together before I declare them the second best duo in the NBA. Maybe that's just me. Number 1, the Joker and Jamal Murray. I love them both, but there's no way.
There's no way they're right.
Yeah, no.
You know what's happening there? They're thinking of Jamal Murray in the playoffs and how great he was. He was great. Give him credit. But there's no way that's the top duo.
No.
Jamal Murray's a very good player, but he's never even made an all-star team yet. Think about that.
Yeah. You know the NBA with the player participation rules, they came out with a definition for what a star player is. He doesn't meet it. He's not by the NBA.
Oh, he doesn't know?
No.
Oh, because you had to be a all-star or an all-NBA.
He doesn't fit the criteria.
Yeah, right. No, that's 100%.
Yeah.
He's a great player, but That's not a top two.
Yeah.
So where are our Kings guys on this list? Like, where would you rank them?
This thing is so wacky. You don't even really want to be on it.
Right.
But honestly, at least 7 or 8.
7 or 8. I'm with you on that. I could pick Draymond and Steph, Kyrie and Luka for sure. In my opinion, they're better than.
Yes.
So that has them right there, at 8, if you move them up. And so outside of that, you can argue about the Clippers guys. I think when healthy and that their full capability.
The poor guys, and I like both those guys. I love Kawhi. They're never healthy.
You're not in on Jimmy Butler and Bam, though. I sense that. I sense that's it.
I don't think they'd be. Where do they have them here?
9?
I'd have them, maybe 10th.
10th?
Yeah.
And then obviously Embiid and Harden. You don't have you.
No, I don't have them on there, and I don't have Giannis and Dame yet. I know that's I'm being maybe too literal.
Oh,
little
my
nitpicky
gosh.
there, but they haven't actually played it.
Where's Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns? That's a good one. That's
21.
Ouch.
I love the Ant-Man, but
ouch.
Yeah. Karl Anthony
The cat
Towns.
slander.
He did. What did he say? He changed the game.
Yeah, he revolutionized the game or something like that.
All right, I'll put him at 16 then. Coming up next, yes, the Kings opening the preseason on Sunday. What do the Kings need to accomplish? What does any team need to accomplish in the preseason? Next with Kyle Draper, I'm Whitey Gleason. This is Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turn them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings training camp is officially underway. Keep up with the Beam Team all camp long as we head into preseason. Of course, the first preseason game is going to be showcasing a matchup against the Raptors this Sunday, October 8th. Head to SactownSports.com to preview that set and tap into the latest Kings news and notes. And nothing says October quite like postseason baseball and Wild Card Wednesday. 8 teams will take the field today, but only 4 will move on from their respective best-of-3 series. I'll run down who's in and who's out all afternoon long as those games conclude. Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 and eliminate Tampa Bay from the postseason. And Blue Jays will also be watching the World Series from home this year. Twins top them 2-0. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back in. Some more Drive Guys.
On the text line here, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. From the 916, Kyle Draper. Jimmy's hair ruined me for him. I think you have that wrong, but Jimmy's hair ruined him for me. Was my favorite player until I saw Media Day. I love that whole thing.
Why would that turn somebody off? Like, no more. That's the final straw, Jimmy Butler. I'm done with you.
Because they took it seriously and thought that he actually was trying to make some sort of fashion statement.
No.
He's having a laugh.
He's clowning. My wife loved that too, man. So, no, I loved it. And then he was back to his normal hair the day after.
Can you explain why, for those who don't know, why he actually did that the day he did it?
So, on Media Day, you get all your pictures taken, all the promo shoots, everything, media guide pictures and everything like that. So
Pictures
now
are going to show on TV all year long?
Yeah, all season long. That shot of Jimmy Butler is going to be playing, whether it's ABC or Heat TV, whatever. And so he did it last year too, remember? He did it last year. And so he's just trolling. He's just out there trolling a little bit.
I have to admit, I was looking at the picture with Sheena, my wife, and then I didn't realize that he had the piercings.
Oh, I know. I saw the. I was like, oh, he went there too. He took it to that level. No, I loved it. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
That was funny. We have this today. Lakers have the Nuggets on the minds this week. Michael Malone. Love Michael Malone. You like Michael Malone?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Former Kings coach. He said the Nuggets have nothing but respect for the Lakers. He was asked about how some of the Lakers talked about his team this week. And Michael Malone says, that was what, 4 months ago? I can't speak for anybody in LA, but if they're still worried about us, that's on them. This is a new season.
Michael Malone, as much as I like, he needs to chill out.
Really?
Yes, because if I'm correct,
I'm running that back.
But during the parade, remember he took a shot at the Lakers during the Nuggets celebration parade. And so it was like, dude, all right, y'all won, move on. And so now the Lakers fire back. And if I'm the Lakers, your competition is Denver. You're chasing Denver. That's the team. And so I'm okay with the Lakers, keeping their eye on the Nuggets.
Yeah. Anthony Davis on Media Day Monday said there was just so much of that going on. It was like, all right, we get it. Y'all won. But me and LeBron had some conversations like, we can't wait to play them again. So, yeah, Michael Malone's response is, a long time ago. Get over it, guys.
But he's the one that kept it going for a while. Now that he's moved on, he's like, all right, Lakers, move on. No, that's turning into a rivalry. I can't wait to see that first matchup, man.
Can you tell us from your perspective, what does a team like the Kings, what is any NBA team trying to actually accomplish in the preseason, especially a team coming off of a good season?
If you're a coach, what you want to see is that your philosophy, your principles are being adhered to. Does the offense – are they running the offense well? Are they locked in defensively? A lot of times what you'll see is, guys go out there and try to get their numbers or something like that. To me, the hallmark of a good team, Whitey, is no matter who's on the floor, they're running, if it's the Warriors, their style of play. Whoever's on the floor, they run that same. So I think that's what Mike Brown is looking for. Their style of play being, on display no matter who's on the floor. And so I don't think it's about winning or losing or, or the 3-point percentage or anything like that. It's about the flow of the offense. And the same thing with defense, defensive communications, rotations. Are they on point? I think really what you're looking for is things you can work on in practice, things you can teach in practice. So you don't look for who's doing things well as much as, all right, this guy needs to work on this, or we need to work on our rotations more. And so that's what I think you hope to get out of a preseason. It's, really just the flow of the offense and defense.
As you know, any King that you ask, Media Day or whenever, hey, where can this team improve? Where do they have to be better? Before you even get the question out of your mouth, they say defense.
Defense, yeah.
But I don't know if there's really much you can accomplish. Obviously, to your point, There's rotations that have to be on point. You want to make sure everyone is defending properly, but you really don't know if your defense is getting better until the season starts.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen teams go undefeated in preseason and then crap out in the regular season. But, habits are being built right now, though. And I think, if you need to figure out your defensive identity. The numbers may not be there, but who do you want to be defensively? Do you want to be a hard-nosed, up-in-you kind of team? Do you want to, force a lot of turnovers kind of team? Like, I think that's what they're trying to do, figure out in the preseason. Who do you want to be? What's your defensive identity? And it may not show up in the numbers early on. It may take the regular season, 20 games, 30 games to really figure it out.
I know Brian Windhorst has talked about this, and he's known Mike Brown a long time. And he says, last year doing an interview with Mike Brown, he said he couldn't believe it. You look at this team, this Kings team, a Mike Brown coach team that was giving up so many points. Obviously, they were winning, and that's the main thing. But where does this team's identity have to go defensively in Mike Brown's mind? How much better can they really be?
I think and I talked to Mike Brown about this on Media Day. And Sabonis talked about it, and I'm sure he talked about it with you guys as well. They've shown in flashes they can be a good defensive team. The reason why they lost that series to the Warriors necessarily wasn't the defense. Sure, Steph went off for 50. I get that. But their offense disappeared. And so what Mike Brown wants is he wants them to be able to still play at a high level defensively, but without the offense falling off. And I think, they've shown flashes. They were one of the top fourth quarter defenses in the league last season, Whitey. If you look at the numbers.
That's the thing. And then you look at their road defense, and it was like they were eighth, and some of it is like, I don't understand how this can even be.
Yeah, exactly. Is this the same team? And so it's there. It's making sure that the guys understand, all right, you can play hard defensively, and your offense is still going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who are the good defenders? Sasha's probably not going to improve the defense this year, right? And I know we mentioned this earlier. A lot of his teammates said he's a better defender than you think. Kevin Huerter is never going to make an all-defensive team. Keegan can be a much better defender, fair to say.
Yes.
And I still think Fox, and I know he's shown signs, with his quickness, I still think he could actually be a much better defender.
And you're not alone. Mike Brown thinks he could be, the top on-ball defender in the entire NBA. He has that capability. And so I think that's where Mike Brown is going to push De'Aaron this season, is to be an elite defender, be a ball stopper, on the other end. I know they ask a lot out of him offensively, but Brown believes De'Aaron Fox can do it defensively as well. And so, I would love for De'Aaron Fox to come out and say, you know what? I'm a guard Jamal Murray tonight and lock him up. I'm a guard Kyrie and lock him up. Or, take on the challenge of guarding the best offensive player on the other side. And because he has that ability. We've seen it before. He's an elite defender. He's quick. He can move his feet. And so I think that's the evolution of De'Aaron Fox defensively that you'll see.
When you compare him to some of the best perimeter defenders, obviously the quickness and the speed, no one else can match that. But does he give away a little bit if you're comparing him to, say, Drew Holiday or somebody? He's not quite as
he's not as strong, right? Yeah. Drew Holiday's kind of muscly.
Yeah.
He's strong. Yeah. And
which is an important part of playing defense.
Yeah, I think so. But, you can be an elite defender without having that strength. Sure, you're not Marcus Smart or anything like that, but, you're quick with your hands. You're quick in positions. Like, you can beat guys to the spot. And that doesn't take strength. That takes quickness and anticipation. And I think De'Aaron Fox has that. And so I want to see, can you imagine, can De'Aaron Fox make an all-defensive team? Why not, right? Why not when you think about it? And so I think he has that ability. And so that's one of the things, Mike Brown wants to see from him is taking a step defensively.
The reason he probably won't, to me, is, and you pointed it out, and it's not making excuses, but he expends so much energy offensively, and he's a human being. And I'm not, people say, well, you got to play defense, and he knows that, but he's flesh and blood. He only has so much energy.
In the days of true two-way superstars are kind of usually, you have defensive specialists. You have a Davion out there. You have a Klay Thompson alongside Steph Curry, because those offensive players are so great that you don't want them expending all their energy on the other end.
Yeah,
But
Clay on defense, he would chase Kyrie all over the place, but on offense, I'm going to stand there, give me the ball, and I'm not going to dribble, and I'm going to score.
But remember back in the day, I mean, you and I can go way back. The Alvin Robertsons of the world. You know, remember him? He was a great two-way player. He was a
Did
great.
he have a quadruple double?
Yeah, I think so. And so, Michael Jordan, of course, was a great two-way player. Clyde Drexler, so you had these great two-way players.
The game was slower then, too.
Yeah, it was slow. It was different now. Yeah. But it was more physical, though, you could argue, too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the scores are so elite. Like, nobody's asking Dame Lillard to go out there and be a great defender. Nobody's asking, John Morant to be a lockdown defender or anything like that. But Mike Brown is asking that from De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm. All right. Something else to keep an eye on when the preseason tips off in not Toronto. It's actually tipping off in
Vancouver.
Vancouver again.
Everyone, I need everyone to know that. It's very important.
Coming up next, the NFL has a prime time problem. Is there a fix next year? The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. So Drive Guys, Buddy Gleason and Kyle Draper. And Kyle Draper, I bring this up because you and I talked about it last time we were together.
Yep.
Remember we talked about the NFL and how a lot of teams that aren't great and a lot of games that have not been that compelling.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yeah,
yes.
which not great news because we love football. Well, Jimmy Traina, SI.com, broke this down yesterday, and the problem may be worse than I thought it was. 4 weeks into the NFL season, you can get a good grasp on which teams are good, which teams are bad. And here's what we have looking ahead to the primetime schedule the rest of the way. Some of this can be flexed out, but I don't think it all can be. The Chicago Bears, you enjoy watching them this year?
No, they've been awful. They've been terrible.
They're 0-4. They have not 1, not 2, not 3. They have 4 primetime games remaining.
I don't get it. I just What is it about the Bears?
Chicago, they thought they'd be better. I don't know. And again, some of these they can be flexed out of, but I don't know if you can flex out of all these games. Does Raider football get you going these days?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they don't.
The Raiders, the Broncos, who are 1-3, and the Jets without Aaron Rodgers, they're on prime time 3 more times each.
Wow. And you can you flex?
Like I said, I think some of it
Some
you
of them
can, but
you
can they
can,
flex
right?
out of all these?
Not all these.
The Patriots and the Vikings, they're both 1-3. They're also each on prime time 3 more times.
But
3 more times.
You do have the NFL has a problem, but what are you going to do? Whitey? Throw the Niners and Eagles on every week, prime time? I mean, there's a dearth, a ton of bad teams out there.
Right. There are watchable teams in. Cowboys obviously still have cachet, and they're playing well. The Eagles, the 49ers, the Seahawks now just by process of elimination are elevated to that status of, they're a good team. And we know the Seahawks are terrible. We all know that.
Where's Pete Carroll? I might have to get Pete Carroll on line 1, man.
But
Just in
because
his
there's so many
squad.
bad teams right now, it's like, yeah, I guess they're pretty good. The Chargers are, they're LA, big market. They're a halfway decent team. So unless teams start playing better, we just may end up with it's not a great year for a lot of NFL teams.
Yeah, no, but there are teams playing well.
Yes.
The Lions, you know, what are they? 3-1, I believe. So they're a team that, but nobody expected them to be. We thought they'd be better, but not this, and the Aaron Rodgers thing, I think really messed the NFL up too, because what did they have? The Jets on 4 times national TV, and now with Zach Wilson, it's just not sexy. The Bears,
but he'll be back before you know it. He says so.
Right. Maybe next week, right? But no. But then Justin Fields was supposed to be, take that next step, be a big leap, a must-see TV. And he's been awful. And so I just think, the NFL got it wrong. And they do have an issue. Like, what's tomorrow's game? Bears in Washington?
Bears in Washington.
Yeah. Ooh, exciting. It's
I'm actually looking forward to watching it, but I wouldn't argue with anybody who says sets up as a terrible match.
It's a terrible matchup. And,
I like Sam Howell, but I know.
What? Did you really say that?
Yeah, I know. I know it's horrible. I'm just being honest with you.
Sam Howell fan club on line 1. What? Do you really?
Yeah. I kind of do, but I'm not arguing with you.
All right. We're not going to get into a Sam Howell argument.
No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
No, it's and this is the thing though. It's like the primetime game used to be the marquee. Remember growing up, Monday Night Football? It was must-see TV. It was really the best matchup of the week, really, because you didn't have Sunday night back then. Now you got Sunday night, you got Thursday night, and these Thursday night games have been awful. They've been, and the other day I was looking for it. I was like, man, do I really want to watch this game? And I actually had to work to sign into the app and watch it, everything. Yeah. And I was like, what am I doing this for? Like, it felt like I should be doing something else, man.
You don't feel like you should have to work to watch the Bears and
right.
the Commanders?
Exactly. That's terrible. Like, and so, no, I mean, but every game has value now, thanks to fantasy football. Every game has value.
That's true. But it's a great point you raised here. The Bears are on 4 primetime games, Raiders, Broncos, Jets, primetime 3 more times. Who's made that schedule? The Jets, I get. You didn't know Aaron Rodgers was going to be hurt, but
why the Broncos?
The Raiders,
Raiders,
and the Bears were going to be on so often.
How many times in the Niners and Eagles? Do you have that right there or no?
How many times?
How many times are they on prime time?
No, I only have a partial list. 49ers are on here a lot. It's interesting. This list that was in SI, they mentioned the upcoming games that are A+ games, and they didn't even mention the 49ers Eagles. But let's see. They have the Dolphins visit the Eagles on Sunday night.
That's a big matchup.
Eagles play the Chiefs on a Monday night.
Okay, that's a big matchup.
Eagles visit the Cowboys in week 14.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's not all bad, Whitey. See?
Right.
Come on.
Cowboys have the Chargers week 6. But, yeah, other than those teams, there's not a lot of
but the problem is, like, it's too many bad teams out here. It's too many bad coaching quarterback combinations. And so, I mean, when you look at the NFC, if you want to include the Lions, okay. But, in terms of contenders, You got the Eagles, you got the Niners, and the Seahawks.
What about the Cowboys?
And the Cowboys.
Okay.
But the Cowboys might be
take the
exposed.
Seahawks off.
The Cowboys might be exposed this Sunday. Like if they get run, if they get blasted,
maybe.
I don't want to see. I don't want to hear from them until the postseason. I don't want no Cowboys hype. I don't want no Weedham boys being played. I don't want no America's
Spoken
team.
like a true Eagles fan.
No,
but
because
I'm with you.
This is your chance. This is your chance to make a statement. You've had one of the worst schedules so far in the NFL. I think their teams are combined 4-12 they faced so far this season, and so this is your chance to make a statement. Dallas Cowboys.
You know what the NFL has to do to save the schedule?
What?
Well, A, flex. B, send your favorite, Taylor Swift, to all these games. Because she goes to the game, and the ticket prices soar, and the TV ratings go up.
The ratings go up too, huh?
I just don't understand that. And the NFL, by the way, the NFL today defended its coverage of Taylor Swift. And Travis Kelce was one of those people that even Kelce himself said they're overdoing it, and the league felt the need to come out today publicly and defend their coverage of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
It's not just the league, though. It's everybody. It's social media. It's sports talk radio. Here we are bringing up Taylor Swift, and the NFL is a business. And here's the thing: the NFL knows dopes like me and you, we're going to watch no matter what. So if you can get 14-year-old girls all of a sudden interested in watching football, you can get, 15-year-olds watching it. Why not? Why not? You're picking up a whole new social media audience just from this one woman.
But what does it matter? I mean, you get the ratings for 1 week. It's not like you're making them football fans, right? It's not like Taylor Swift fans are going to,
So what is the NFL supposed to do then?
I just think they'd be a little more respectful of actual football fans and not have, you probably know Mike Tirico, and I think he's terrific. But when he says, we want to welcome all the Swifties to the game, come on, that's way overboard. The Swifties are going to watch anyway. So who are you talking to? Why are you doing that?
So are you going to turn it off because Mike Tirico said, welcome Swifties to
no, but I just feel like it's a little distasteful. It's a little over the top. And that has nothing to do with her. By the way, this was interesting. And I forget which one it was. One of the Kelseys, and I think it was Justin, said, you know what? The NFL isn't handling this well with celebrities there. And he said, the NBA does a great job of it. The NBA has all the celebrities come and they're courtside and everybody's cool with it. And they show them during the game and it's no big deal. The NFL has Taylor Swift. Like,
she's the biggest thing out there right now. If it was a regular celebrity, like think about it. The other day, Taylor Swift walked in with who? Blake Lively, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds I think was there. Nobody said anything to them. Like they were afterthoughts. It's because Taylor Swift mania is out of control right now.
Yeah. Well, I want to walk back something I said to you a few weeks ago.
There you go.
When I said that this was all a publicity stunt because she has her movie coming out.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you've seen these numbers, but I had them yesterday. Apparently her movie of her tour, it has already made back the money it cost to make it, and it isn't even out yet.
It hasn't even come out yet.
So considering numbers like that,
and
yeah. So she doesn't need any help with any of that. I thought, she's just trying to sell tickets. She doesn't need anything. She doesn't need any help.
Right. Like Travis Kelce is the one that needs to, boost his Q rating and everything. He's in households. Women have never heard of Travis Kelce before. Some people. My 11-year-old daughter had never heard of Travis Kelce. Now she knows. So Travis Kelce is the one who's benefiting from this relationship, not Taylor Swift.
I think that the mom, and I don't know her name, Mrs. Kelce, the mom, she's
Donna.
a bigger star. Donna is
yeah.
a bigger star than Justin because he's a center. Travis is a big star, right? But
Travis
the mom is everywhere.
Yeah, the mom's everywhere. I'm all for Taylor Swift. Hopefully, do the Chiefs play the Niners? They don't play, huh?
No, they play them
Super
last year,
Bowl.
so I don't think they play.
Super Bowl. If she's can you imagine Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? What?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Wouldn't that be something? And maybe they'll get her to come down at halftime.
Sign me up.
Reminds me of years ago, a place called the Boardwalk here in Orangevale.
Okay.
Prince showed up.
What?
Yeah, and everyone knew, so they sold tickets, and it cost more to go there. And I know some people, the way the Prince is going to be, and he was there, but he didn't do anything. He just
was there.
He walked around and said, all right, see ya. He didn't actually play, but people got to see Prince.
Dude, he doesn't have to do anything, man. Just you're in his presence.
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift.
Thank you, Kyle Draper. A lot of fun. Yeah.
Back tomorrow,
Should we
right?
try it again tomorrow?
Yeah, 2:00, man.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Drive Guys right here on Sactown Sports. Have a great evening.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown!